Hello, and welcome back to Unstable Opinions, where your wildest dreams come to life. I am Gabe, and I'm joined by my two friends.
I'm Chris. That's false advertising.
Oh, every intro's been false advertising.
I don't know.
I'm Nick, and I don't want to be here anymore after that.
Yeah, there's a lot more to come this year.
An excellent kickoff to the new year.
Welcome back.
Yeah, this is Unstable Opinions, the first episode of the new year.
In the first episode since Chris has become famous.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Don't worry, you don't want to hear about it here.
Yes, you do actually. We're gonna talk about that
later.
But all right, so we're back. It's been a few weeks. This is pretty much the first time we broke the schedule when we recorded the Star Wars series, but I mean, in terms of us not doing it, we took a little bit of a break. So how was your winter break, guys?
Winter break.
I slept. I played a little video games. I slept more. And I played some more video games. And I slept.
Sounds pretty lame.
That sucks.
Dave, I bet you did the same thing.
Anyway.
So I got a new laptop. I've been playing some video games.
Oh,
I slept.
I love playing video games.
I was playing some video games and then I slept.
Oh yeah, dude. Sleep is
sleep
great
is
for your
great.
body
Fuck
and
you,
soul.
It's a great thing to do. And,
I like the old Chris.
I like the
Yeah,
old
yeah,
grit.
like
Straight from the old grit.
Okay, is that all you actually had to say?
Yeah, I mean, I had tons of family come over, so I was just hanging out at home. I didn't go anywhere this winter, but it was a nice time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, winter isn't even really over yet. But...
Yeah, but I'm not gonna do anything
What's
for the
it?
rest of it because we have school now.
Yeah. I mean, I had a pretty good break too. I went to West Virginia. I went skiing.
Mountain Mama.
I did. The country roads took me home. If you know what I'm saying.
That was the end of the joke.
Okay. Yeah. And then I came back and I went to Galaxy's Edge for the first time, which was amazing. And I can't wait to go back. Nick, you're going there.
I'm going in a few weeks, yeah.
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 I've got to go soon, and I probably will end up buying
I thought
another
I was
lightsaber.
like, I don't know why I didn't register. You were talking about Galaxy's Edge. Like, you were just like, okay, I gotta leave.
I
gotta go.
I gotta go.
We gotta wrap this up.
Yeah, let's make it like 10 more minutes.
Yeah. And then I built a lightsaber there, and then you just built a lightsaber, and then Gabe brought his.
Yeah, so but I need a new custom built lightsaber,
yeah.
which I say that I'm not gonna get, and then I'm gonna end
You're
up.
gonna get one.
You're gonna get one,
and then
time
you need
it's
to
gonna
get
be
one
red.
that's a different color.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a red one.
You know, we were talking about it in the car on our way back. We were saying everyone got something from Disney Springs except you.
I got something.
Oh, yeah.
Happiness. I got
you
the real Disney Springs was the friends we made along the way.
We didn't make any friends.
Oh. I mean, we made friends. People asked where we got our lightsabers.
Oh, yeah.
There was that one guy who talked about your shirt.
Was there someone that talked about it?
Yeah, it was in the big Disney store. He was like, "Where'd you get your baby Yoda
Oh,
shirt?"
yeah.
There was this
he was
weird
cool.
guy following us around that had the same shirt as me.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Tyler Tran, but...
Oh, you'll see his face for
you
a
don't
couple
want to know about that here.
milliseconds.
He's in this room right now.
No, he's not.
We're not at liberty to say
I
where.
don't know what you're talking about.
He's
this.
just playing Minecraft.
We'll have special guests later down this year.
But we have no way to prove that he's actually here, so
Not at all.
you just have to take a word for it. Anyway,
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, so for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, this is the shut the fuck up. Okay, this is the Unstable Opinions podcast. Every other week, we get together, we talk about. Usually, we talk about a specific game or a specific movie that we played or watched, do a review on it, and before that, we cover some news. So the last episodes we kind of didn't do that because we were talking about Star Wars, and this episode is also going to be a little bit different in the fact that we're not reviewing something specific. This is our decade retrospective episode, so we've each made two separate lists, one for our favorite movies of the decade and one for our favorite games of the decade, and we're going to go around and talk about those pretty soon. But first, let's talk about some recent news. A couple new trailers dropped for Birds of Prey and the New Mutants.
Mm-hmm.
Which New Mutants in particular, I'm honestly like, I don't know what. I guess it was just because the fact that it kept getting delayed. I was just like under the impression that movie was just never gonna come out. So
I was like, I got some hype, and then it's all been gone.
yeah,
since
like literally, it got
dropped.
a trailer like 2 years ago, and it was supposed to come out like a couple months from then, and then it got delayed, and
At
then
this point,
like
you
a
just,
year,
you
and then they
keep
delayed it
reminding
again.
me that it exists.
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
forget about it.
It's so weird too because they they talked about Dark Phoenix wasn't that well received, but they were still talking about it as if it was like the end of the Fox X-Men saga.
Yeah.
But this is really it. Just so
And
it's,
on top of that, Deadpool 3's been confirmed.
yeah, but it's an MCU movie too. So New Mutants is just it's a very weird beast as of right now.
We'll see how that.
I hope it's good
goes.
because
Yeah.
it's very like I'm glad that like Disney, once they got ownership of it, they seem to sort of want to keep the horror aspect of it, which I was
Yeah.
glad about, especially because that's another thing that happened that I didn't even write down. Scott Derrickson stepped down from Doctor Strange 2.
Big F in the chat.
So
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I forgot about that.
yeah, that sucks because
Yeah.
that very much gives me the fact that like him like saying it was gonna be like the first MCU horror movie.
Yeah, I wanted
Him stepping down over creative differences is very much to me like he
They-
wanted to
they're
go
not
like
gonna-
all the way with it, and then
Yeah,
they just wouldn't let him.
that sucks.
Yeah.
I was really kind of excited about that.
Yeah, and like it's happened with Disney and like directors like that before. Like it happened with Phil Lord and Chris Miller on Solo, and it happened with Edgar Wright on Ant-Man. And it's just like even though Solo and Ant-Man were both good movies in the end, I just hearing that it was supposed to be this one thing and then it got turned into something that was a little bit more basic is just always disappointing in the end.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure it'll be good. Like I'm.
yeah,
gonna,
I'm still gonna
love
go see it. And I'm still
Doctor
probably really
Strange
gonna
movies,
enjoy it.
but-
Yeah, you'll love all one
All
of
the
them.
one of
them. Okay, so I didn't even write that down. I'm glad I remembered that happened. But the Birds of Prey trailer also came out.
Yeah.
That movie looks good. I don't really have much else to say about it.
Yeah.
I don't care
It's-
much for it, but it's coming.
I'll see it,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't
I'm
seen
sure.
any. I mean, Harley Quinn. The only other movie she's been in the DCEU is Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
So I've never seen Suicide Squad. I heard it was bad, but I heard Margot Robbie was good as Harley Quinn.
I think
So.
it's just unfortunate that like she can play such a good Harley Quinn, but they don't have, a great DC movie like
Yeah.
thing going on.
To surround it with.
Yeah,
To surround
exactly.
that performance with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If only things were different.
Well, hopefully this will be the movie that like. I mean, I feel like you say that a lot. Like, hopefully this is the movie that puts DC on the right track. I think DC has been making some good steps recently.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like a lot of their
like
movies have been on
Shazam
the
especially
right track.
came out
Oh,
last year.
yeah.
That movie
I mean,
was
there was
great.
Can't
also
forget.
Aquaman.
Yeah. I
Wonder
liked
Woman.
Aquaman. I didn't love Aquaman. Wonder Woman was
Wonder
good.
Woman was great.
But like I don't know. It's just something about the DCEU. I feel like every time they have a movie that's coming out that looks good, like Wonder Woman 1984 also looks really good. But for some reason, just the reputation it has, just like every time a new DC movie trailer comes out, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is good. Like I'm like surprised about it.
I just keep forgetting that these things are DC. Like
Yeah.
you bring up Shazam, and I'm like, oh, that's a great superhero movie.
Yeah.
Not realizing at first it's DC.
Yeah. And like it's even with like Joker came out last year, and that's not in the DCEU. So like watching the Birds of Prey trailer and having Harley Quinn talk about her breaking up with the Joker, you're like, oh yeah, Jared Leto's Joker was a thing.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Dang.
I'm just
Yeah,
trying to.
I
Break,
have seen that. I've seen those clips.
I'm trying to end like my whole association with what I think DC movies are supposed to be, so that
Yeah.
I can just enjoy what these movies are gonna be now.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll be much better.
Let's talk about the PS5 logo.
Now that,
Oh yeah. Wait, should we? I mean, are we gonna talk about Pokemon first?
We'll do that after.
All right.
Talk about the PS5
So,
logo.
Yeah. So next bit of news. Sony had a conference.
groundbreaking.
So yeah, they literally they revealed the PS5 logo there, and that was the only new piece of information they announced at the CES conference.
And then
there's actually leaked footage.
Yeah, this leaked footage off of
how
this
they
weird.
The graphic
Twitter
designer actually made the logo. I mean, it's pretty.
This
extensive.
Twitter user named Chris Trineri.
No, Bagel Chris.
Bagel Chris
_Chris.
uploaded a video on Twitter that has now reached over 3 million views.
I can't stand that guy.
It's probably like 4
Really.
million. I mean,
Like
what does he think? Who does he think
he
is?
thinks he knows what's going on behind the scenes?
Like, what is he gonna copyright? Like Dora? Like what?
Oh my god. I was worried I was gonna get copyright claimed for that.
Yeah.
So anyway,
It's
I don't
fun.
know. I mean, honestly, most of the people listening to this now probably know what we're talking about. So the PS5 logo was pretty much the only new piece of information they revealed at the conference. They didn't talk about anything other than stuff we already knew about, and they didn't reveal like the actual physical box or anything. So, and the logo is the exact same logo as the PS4 logo, but just with a 5 instead of a 4. Yeah, and the PS3. So I made a video making fun of it, and it instantly became the most popular thing I've ever made. Like, that video has more views than any of my other videos by far.
That took
Any
3
of your
hours
videos
to
combined?
make.
Yeah, literally all of my other videos combined don't have nearly as many views as that
definitely.
video has.
And you
So,
put so much time into those.
That
other
was
ones.
that was insane. That was a crazy few days.
Yeah.
Like, I had to turn off notifications for YouTube and Twitter because I was just getting so many freaking comments and subscriptions. It was really, really, really cool. And I'm super grateful for that. It was just so funny to me that that's the video that did it. Like, I've spent months
Of
like
course.
writing like videos, like going into more detail about stuff.
And
But
then
it's the
12-second meme.
it's the video that took me 10 minutes to make that's 12 seconds long.
course.
That's the one that gets the most attention. But I'm fine with that.
You did it.
Yeah.
You did it.
You did it.
And here we
Yay.
are. And here we are now.
You did.
You don't need to.
Yeah, okay.
You don't need to sing a song.
Yeah, I do.
You don't.
Yeah, he does.
Now I need to play the song.
Oh god.
Nope, I'm not doing
Yeah,
that.
don't get
Don't
this
do-
copyright claimed. All right. So I guess.
So, last bit of news is the Pokemon DLC and Mystery Dungeon release.
Yes.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Mystery Dungeon is more exciting.
That,
Yeah.
For me too.
I
Just
think
because
so,
it's
too.
the original Mystery Dungeon game they made 15 years ago. Like, it's a new art style I've never seen. Like, I think the closest thing I've seen is, like, the Paper Mario games.
Mm.
Like, that's the closest
They
art style
changed
I've
the
seen.
art style of it, or
See, because I didn't actually like watch the trailer for it. I saw like screenshots of the trailer, and it looks like the. Well, it looked to me, at least at first glance, it looked like the Pokemon games Sword and Shield that were out. But
No, not at all.
yeah,
I like the art style. Like, it's like Game Boy art style, but put in 3D.
okay, that's cool. So it's kind of like something like Link's Awakening or something.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
see, I never saw any trailers. I just heard it from you, and I got excited
Yeah.
based off of that. But I like so they changed the way that the art style was from before.
Well, they basically took the base, like the first original game, and they took the art style, but put in a 3D format. So
Mm.
it's like the game's like
It
it looks
kinda-
like a
it's-
giant
yeah.
drawing,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's really cool.
yeah,
Okay, that's pretty awesome.
yeah. I've never played a Mystery Dungeon game.
It's so fun.
And then there's
that might be
also the
one.
Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC,
Yeah.
which it looks. I think it's gonna be like the two DLC combined are gonna be more content than the actual game is.
Really?
That's pretty
Because
cool.
you know how I was talking how the wild area is like the biggest part of the game.
Mhm.
Well, both the DLC are just two giant new wild areas.
Oh, that's cool.
I think
Yeah,
that's-
And
their-
there's one for each version, right?
Well,
Does each
basically,
version get two?
Each version gets the same like DLC packs, but like in each version they'll have different characters or locations.
Okay. Yeah, because I saw people on Twitter disappointed that they're like they didn't get to see what rival they would get in the DLC based on what version they picked in the beginning.
The sword rival's better, but
Yeah, that's the main consensus that I heard.
at this point,
But-
everyone's saying everything about sword is better than shield.
Really?
Surfetched
That's
I didn't
that's
even.
pretty-
and the sword legendary
good.
is like the most powerful Pokemon of all time now.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think it's
Yeah, I like. Oh wait, hold on. What were you gonna say?
But I just think it's better that I like the way that they're going with the DLC rather than like a third.
Yeah, that's
game.
that's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. Like
$30
I saw people
DLC instead of a new $60 game.
That
is
makes
so much
Yeah,
better.
more
exactly.
sense to me, and you get like a lot more content on the game that you were
Yeah.
already building up in the first place.
Like
So,
you already
Exactly.
have the game done, then they add the DLC with all the post game stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like since it's two just new like wild area kind of maps, it's really cool that it's just these two giant like it's kind of like Breath of the Wild. There's just so much area that you can explore. It's the camera controlled by the analog stick.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm up for it.
Yeah.
It's $30 of post game content, probably another 20 hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
that
yeah.
seems worth. That's exciting.
Yeah.
I think a mystery dungeon is still a bit more for me, but
Just because it is like a
It's a
like,
full game.
It's a full
And it
game.
comes out in March.
Oh, does it? I didn't
March
even know
6th.
that. That's cool.
It's like so soon.
yeah, that's
It
I
came
might
out
need
of
I might need
nowhere.
to get that because I've been wanting to try Mystery
it's gonna
Dungeon
be my
game, but I
spring
haven't
break
played one yet.
game that I
We'll watch the trailer after this.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited now.
feel like you'd like it.
Yeah. All right. So now I think that's pretty much everything we wanted to talk about in terms of news out of the way. So pull up your lists.
I'm
So
ready.
now we're gonna do like I said earlier, this is our decade. Oh my god.
Oops.
This is our decade retrospective episode. So, basically, we're gonna start with movies, and we're gonna go around year by year from 2010 to 2019, and we're gonna say what our favorite movie from each year is, and then, we might talk about it a little bit, because some of these decisions were really, really hard.
Yeah.
Stop burping.
I will say that
I
it
had to
was
change
hard for both.
2010 a
We're gonna
few
do
times.
movies and games, but for movies, it was so much harder than games because there's so many great movies come out like every year.
Yeah.
And they're great for many different reasons. Like one, it's like a big blockbuster thing, or it could be like a very artistic like kind of movie that I really respect, and it was so hard.
Yeah.
I think another part of like games is so easy because like we're fans of certain games.
Mm-hmm. And also, like, you spend way more time with a game than you do with a movie.
Yeah.
Like, every year there's like 2 or 3 games that I sink a lot of time into, so that makes my choices a little bit easier to narrow down.
Yeah.
Because even if I played a lot of stuff that I like over the year, there's usually a few games that I spent way more time on.
Yeah, like with you, like a Mario game would stick out more than most games.
Yeah,
With Gabe,
yeah.
it would be something like Skyrim or Gungeon, just like a RPG puzzle game kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then me, like most Pokemon games stick out, but when I really dislike one, it's not gonna end up on the list at all.
Yeah.
We have games that we like. We basically choose for ourselves to spend hours with. With movies, we can like watch a whole bunch all the time and love many different genres.
And especially because I feel like I watch so many more good movies in a year than games that I play. There's the decision for movies is so much harder.
I replay the same games all the time.
Well, it's like even on top of that, it's like, like I said, like, I play a few new games every year that I put a lot of time into. With movies, there could be like in a good year of movies, there could be like 10 movies that I need to pick between. And like sometimes it's easier because some of the movies for certain years are some of my favorite movies of all time. But it's still, because there's so many that come out in a year, and I did find that certain years were slower than others when I was going back and looking at it, but it is a really hard decision. So we're probably going to be talking a lot about like certain, like, I know I didn't say this ahead of time, but I have a lot of runner-ups written down, so we might talk about those a little bit, but we're mainly going to stick to our tops.
I kind of have my runner-ups like in my head because I can kind of think of what like my favorite. It definitely gets harder to choose the later we get in years.
I'm just so scared that I'm gonna forget something.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna look back at the list afterwards and be like, oh my god, that came out that year.
That's
like, I'm
what
such
I
an
did
idiot.
when I'm looking back at 2010. I'm like, is this really my choice? But
Waiting,
then I saw another one. I'm like, this actually makes sense because it led to different movies that were produced.
Yeah.
And I was also looking at like movies that are like trilogies or have sequels or something. I'm like, am I really gonna pick every single movie
I'd rather just
in
put
this
the best
series?
movie out of them.
Or
Yeah, that's like a different Marvel movie every
Like
year.
I almost
It
put,
was so disappointing.
I almost put both the Deathly Hallows parts, and I'm like, but I want one more than the other.
Yeah.
Did Deathly Hallows Part 1 came out in 2010, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, see, I always... I think Honest Trailers described it best for me as the one you can skip. Like,
Yeah,
I still
didn't
really
Part
like
One
that.
much.
I still like that movie, but that was the beginning of a, like, you know, young adult novel finale movie adaptations being split into two parts arbitrarily. That's like a really long name for something that's a cliche, but it, you know, it's like Harry Potter did it, Twilight did it, Hunger Games did it. I think Divergent was gonna do it, and then it got
the
canceled
part
or
2s
something.
were always better.
You could technically
Well, yeah, because it's actually the finale.
Yeah, like I think the one part that pissed me off about Deathly Hallows Part 1 is that they killed Dobby in the end.
Dobby.
Okay.
Dobby.
You could claim that Infinity War and Endgame.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's a two.
They were announced as Infinity War Part 1 and 2, and then
I didn't know that. So
and then they didn't reveal that it was Endgame until like December 2018.
It was like leaked
Okay,
that
children.
one time.
Let's get on with the list.
All right.
Oh yeah,
so
okay, right.
Movies.
That. So
and then are we also gonna do our highly anticipated of?
we're gonna do those
the
at the end.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do the way we're gonna do this. We're gonna go around for each year and say what our favorite movie was. So we're gonna do movies first, and then we're gonna do games, and then once those are both over, we're gonna talk about our most anticipated stuff of 2020. Not the whole 2020's decade because we don't know a lot about it yet, but just of this year.
Yeah.
All right. So, starting off, favorite movies. Favorite movie of 2010.
Who's starting?
I can start.
Okay, fine, go. Whatever.
I mean, do you want to start? I
All
don't
right. So
care.
my favorite movie of 2010 is Scott Pilgrim versus the World, baby.
Hey.
Comedic masterpiece.
Are you for real
I'm
right now?
actually being for
Okay,
real.
good, because that's my favorite movie of
Yeah.
2010 too, and it's my favorite live action movie of all time.
It's a really good movie.
I love.
I can rewatch it all the time.
Yeah.
For 2010, I actually said Tangled.
Tangled.
Because that was
Really?
the first like movie where a princess character actually became a good character, to where it led to movies like Moana and Frozen in the later years.
That was that the first like CG princess movie from Disney? Because I think
I'm
it
trying
may
to
have
think.
been.
There was,
I think the one that came before was Princess and the Frog, and that was 2D.
yeah, I guess that would be.
I think
the
that
first.
was the first one.
And that also led
But-
to like the Aladdin remake.
Yeah.
And it was a.
Tyler's holding up ad for Megamind.
So yeah, I will.
In
I
his
will
secret
add a
spot
good.
in the room.
I was gonna say runner
Best
up.
movie of all time, Megamind.
Yeah. All of our runner-ups for the best movie of all time has to be 2010's Megamind, starring Will Ferrell,
Yeah.
and others.
Yeah,
So-
shut up.
So
Throw 2000
we had a
off.
structure for this, but I just I want to talk about Scott Pilgrim since it's both of our favorite movies of that year. So Edgar Wright is like, I think he's tied for he was my favorite director for a long time. I think he's tied with Taika Waititi now.
Oh yeah.
But I really, really like the stylization of all of his movies. A lot of times they have like really fast pace. There's a lot of creativity and like the transitions and the cinematography.
That's what I was gonna say. Like he knows how to make a movie flow and like
Yeah.
how to get each like character developed in the right way at the right time.
Yeah.
What scenes to show in what order.
Yeah, and it's like it's a movie based on a graphic novel inspired by video games, and it's like there's so much of that. Like it's not a video game movie, but it does have a lot of that sort of like feel to it, I guess.
In 2010,
Not in like
that's a very hard thing to take on.
yeah,
Like
just there's very other like even in Edgar Wright's catalog, there's just very few other movies that sort of reach the same level of like flair that this movie has, and also it's just really funny.
It's
and,
hilarious.
like I don't know, I just love
Vegan.
everything about this movie. Yeah, literally, I quote that movie probably like more than any other movie.
I quote it. I'd say half as much as I quote SpongeBob. And that's saying a lot.
Yeah,
That's saying
yeah.
a lot because I quote
SpongeBob is part of my everyday vocabulary.
Yeah, all the time.
But
No,
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim is a masterpiece. Nick, you want to talk about?
I said what I had to say about Tangled.
Yeah, Tangled.
It just led to everything that's come up in the last 10 years.
It was
Like it started the whole.
CG Disney movies have been really good.
Yeah.
See, I like Tangled because of
And even like Aladdin, like how they interpreted Princess Jasmine as not this like weak character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I wasn't a big fan of the Aladdin remake, but I see what you're saying.
Like
Disney remakes in general just rub me the wrong way. But
well, I don't want Mulan, but my opinion doesn't matter.
So as I was saying,
as long as they keep making money,
I like Tangled because of the fact that I like it when they take like those movies or stories that take other stories and put them together.
Mm-hmm.
Like Flynn Rider was from another story, and there was Rapunzel. Yeah, Flynn Rider had like his own.
See, I mean, you can't see this. I just made a inquisitive eyebrows at Gabriel.
There was like a tiny little short story about like this thief or something, and that's what he's from. There's Rapunzel.
The horse with the sword.
Yeah, that's actually from The Horse and the Sword.
Oh, the famous tale where the horse pulls the sword out of the grease. Mm-hmm. He pulls the spatula out of the grease.
Yeah. And anyway. It was and then they kind of, expanded the Rapunzel story into a whole different thing. Like she's locked in a tower.
Yeah.
And she has
It's like now when
hair.
people talk about Rapunzel, like that's
Tangled.
That's like the first thing most people's minds go to is Tangled. Yeah. So
that's kind of why I liked Once Upon a Time.
Yeah.
Because it was all those things. Well, they had more than just like Disney stories too. They had like Wizard of Oz. Is that Disney? It's not Disney, is it?
Disney made a sequel to it, but it wasn't originally Disney.
Okay, well, yeah.
Yeah, they made Oz the Great and Powerful with James Franco.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like things like that.
Yeah. Okay, real quick before we move on to 2011, I just want to say Tron Legacy was very, very, very close.
I just watched that 2 days ago.
I literally just watched it a month ago, and it's a 2010 movie. And it doesn't quite beat out Scott Pilgrim for me, but I love that movie.
Yeah.
I'm so sad that I didn't watch that movie when I was actually 10 years old in 2010, because I would have been obsessed with it. Mm-hmm. I'm obsessed with it now, and I'm 19 years old, so.
Oh yeah, I just rewatched it. Okay. And I mean, 2010 had some very artistic movies.
Mm-hmm. See, I love movies with a ton of style.
Yeah.
I feel like that sort of like is gonna be apparent in my list in certain entries, but yeah, Scott Pilgrim and Tron are both really good examples of that. So anyway, moving on, 2011. Who went first last time?
All right, so my 2011 pick for the year 2011 is the 2011 movie Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Chris,
I did it.
Is it the same?
Yeah.
Let's go, guys. It's all the
Three-way high five.
That actually went pretty well.
See, this movie...
It was amazing.
It's just too good.
It's good.
What else can you say?
I mean, I think Harry Potter movies I'm going to rewatch. 1, 2, 5, 7 Part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Not 4? Goblet of Fire?
I would also watch 3.
Yeah, 3 is my favorite.
Yeah, I would watch 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, and then 5.
Are we gonna have to do a
then 7?
We're gonna do a Harry Potter review in like a year.
A year
when
and
they
a half?
when they
longer.
when like 5 years from now when they finish the Fantastic Beasts franchise, we'll do a Wizarding World retrospective.
I would like to do that actually.
Yeah.
I love Harry Potter.
Me too. And I've been wanting to rewatch it. So, but anyway.
I mean, we could also do Pirates.
We need things to talk about. So.
Pirates 3.
Yeah. So anyway, Deathly Hallows Part 2 is a very, very good... I mean, obviously it's an adaptation of a book, but it's a very good conclusion to the Harry Potter film series. It was a big deal when it came out.
Yeah.
Like this, like I said earlier, this was kind of the first, like, franchise finale that was, like, split into 2 parts.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, not only was it, like, the big finale, but it was also, like, Part 1 released the year before.
And even today, I still, whenever I hear the Harry Potter theme song, like, because of that movie, it's just like...
Yeah. And just so much happens in that movie that's just, like, when I think about some of my favorite, like, moments in the franchise, they come from that movie. Freaking, like, Neville, like, I guess spoilers real quick for, I don't know. Maybe not.
Everyone should have seen it.
You should have known.
You should have, I mean, I'm not going to spoil it, but you should have seen this by now. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 is a great movie.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I say everything I have to say about it before we move on because this is, we're moving pretty quickly through these.
We do have a lot to get through, though.
We do have a lot to get through.
There's like 22
yeah.
I'm afraid 12 is gonna be the same answer for all three of us too. But
Probably.
I do. Okay, so I do want to say, in the same way that Endgame was sort of like, we've been following the series for so long, and it's kind of like the big finale for it all. Harry Potter felt that same way. But we'd been following Harry Potter for even longer than that.
Yeah.
Like literally, we were in like the book club in elementary school.
Our entire
Oh my
lifetime
God,
was
yeah.
actually Harry Potter. Like after Harry Potter ended, was when we all jumped on the Marvel train.
Yeah, pretty much. That was
Harry Potter was gone.
Harry Potter was at the forefront for a long time, and we all when we were in 5th grade, we went on a field trip to Universal for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter when it was new, and just those movies were coming out. We kind of almost grew up with those characters because, we were obviously younger than them when the first movie came out. But as we were growing older with the series, they were too, and the movies were maturing.
I think I was with Tyler on that field trip.
Really?
I think so, because it was we either went with patrols or the book club.
Yeah.
And I said I wasn't going with the patrols because I wanted to go with him.
I don't remember who I went with on that field trip, and we
I
still
was
can't even
in the
prove that
patrols,
Tyler
so-
Tran is here. So
Yeah.
they're just gonna have to take your
talking
word
about
for
a
that.
guy who
Yeah.
might or not
was
might not
possibly
be
here.
Yeah. Anyway, that movie is great.
Everything about Harry Potter is great.
Yeah.
And I love the world. I love the butter beer.
Oh, you're talking about the theme park?
Yeah, no, the actual place, like Hogwarts in real life. You know.
You've been there?
I was invited once.
You got
cordially.
You got a letter and we didn't.
No, I mean I know Ron.
I think he's lying because he's a Jedi.
I was born on the same day as Rupert Grint.
He's a Jedi, not a wizard.
What?
Actually, no, he's not a Jedi. He's a lightsaber.
Bro, I'm
He didn't build
Doc
his own.
Strange. I'm a wizard.
Okay. 2012.
All right, and real quick,
Oh.
2011 runner-up was Muppets.
Muppets. Oh man.
I didn't watch that movie till recently, but that movie is really
didn't
good.
actually know it came out.
Yep.
I will still pick Deathly Hallows, but
Yeah.
Muppets
Oh no, of
was
course, but yeah. Okay. 2012. Gabe, are you gonna go first?
All right, fellas. There were really amazing movies that came out 2012.
Mhm.
You have, Chronicle came out, The Lorax came out. All of these movies I have to disregard completely as cinematic masterpieces because Avengers came out. So
Oh yeah,
that is
Avengers
my
1.
that is my 2012 pick. I haven't seen it as recently as I've seen some movies that came out 2012.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about back then what meant most to me
Yeah.
in 2012, and I saw
Yeah.
this is when I around the time when I started watching movies all the time
Yeah.
instead of just going to movies once a year.
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah. See, that's a crazy thing too, because as soon as Harry Potter ended, the next year all the freaking Marvel characters came together,
yeah,
and I
Marvel
remember.
started.
We hadn't seen. I had only seen the Iron Man movies.
Yeah.
But my family rented all the other ones before Avengers came out, so that we were caught up when
That's
we went to go
awesome.
see it.
Did we make this clear that Chris, was this your top pick?
Is it your top pick?
Yeah.
I gotta be honest.
It's not.
It's not my
It's not
top
his
pick
top
for
pick.
2012. But I want you to finish your discussion before I reveal what mine was.
Yeah, no, Avengers really hit big.
Yeah.
For me
And
in
no,
2012.
Avengers is my runner-up. Is one of my runner-ups for 2012.
Yeah. I just remember Iron Man was an amazing movie for me. I loved
Yeah.
Iron Man so much,
Yeah.
and then I didn't actually know anything about Marvel comics.
Yeah, no. I knew
had
Spider-Man,
no
and then I knew
idea.
Iron Man from the first movie.
I had no
The
idea that
MCU is
Iron
what
Man,
got me into Marvel.
Yeah, I did not know that Iron Man and Spider-Man were from the same thing.
Yeah.
And then it was my brother who told me oh, they're all gonna have a movie together. You remember Hulk? Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Remember that movie?
Yeah, and then I remember I was like, why is Spider-Man in the Avengers? And then he was eventually, but
Yeah.
that was when I was old enough to understand. But Nick, did you have anything you wanted to say before?
I just like the Avengers.
Okay.
What are you, a little
You're
tiny
such
kid?
a great podcast host. You freaking burped, and again,
I like the
that's the third
Avengers.
time this episode, and then it's just no. I like the Avengers.
Nick is here because we don't feel like editing.
Nick's here because it was me and him that came up with the idea to do a podcast, so he's
he
obligated
said everything
to
that
be
had
here.
to be said about Avengers.
That's
so.
true.
Gabe
Alright.
did talking for once,
So-
so we'll let it be that.
I have to
intro
say.
every episode.
So
What do you do?
I love the Avengers 1. I think it's a really, really good movie. It was really, really exciting for the time, but I've seen it like a billion times, and the more I watch that movie, the more I realize that most of it is them on the helicarrier, just like talking about stuff. Obviously, it's, you know, especially for the time, it was just really cool to see them all in the same room together. But I feel like for me personally, a movie that's held up over more consistent rewatches from 2012 is the classic film 21 Jump Street.
I thought you might say that.
That movie,
Oh,
I saw it when it came out. I've seen it like once or twice since then. I watched it recently again for the first time with you guys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know if Nick, I don't think you were there. I know Gabe was there, and I think Tyler was
Yeah,
there.
Mystery
Yeah,
Man
I was
Tyler
not there.
Tran.
The Mystery Man Tyler Tran, but that movie just, especially even now, like being older and being able to like appreciate certain things about it more, that movie is just so funny.
Yeah, that's what
And-
that's one of the movies I was referencing.
Yeah.
When I was like, I've rewatched some more recently.
Yeah.
And a bit more now than I watch Avengers 1.
Yeah, yeah, and that's like, you know, like Phil Lord and Chris Miller are also like a pair of my favorite directors, and just like I love the pace of the movie. The comedy is all like, that's one of those things where like, you know, there's always a lot of rated R comedies coming out that just go out of their way to be raunchy just to because they think, you know, the more raunchy it is, the funnier it is.
Yeah.
I feel like at first glance, this movie seemed to me like it was one of those movies, but it's actually like really smart in the comedy.
No, it's hilarious.
And it's smart and stupid
Yeah.
at the same time.
They have like cliches, but they do it on purpose.
Yeah,
and
they make fun of the fact that they're cliches.
Yeah.
They make fun of the fact
But
that
they
the
don't
movie
even.
is like.
They kind of don't break. Like they don't exactly break the fourth wall in doing it. They kind of just talk about how like stupid it is when like movies
Yeah.
have those cliches, and then they have
Yeah,
those
like the freaking
cliches.
guy in the beginning that assigns them to the assignment. They're talking about like, oh, they're bringing back this program from like years ago because, you know, it worked so well back
Yeah.
then. So they're just thinking, oh, if we do it again, then everything will be fine.
Yeah.
That's literally just like them saying, hey, the studio wanted to make a 21 Jump Street movie
They're
based on
bringing
the
it back
TV show.
because it,
So,
you know, it worked
yeah.
back then. So
Yeah,
it
they
had
do the
cameos. It had
It's
great acting.
Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum are both great.
Great pair.
I
would have never thought.
Yeah, I know, right?
Before that movie, but now, I mean, I can't picture a better duo besides like Bad Boys. You know.
Yeah, Bad Boys for Life.
Bad Boys
Most
for
anticipated
life.
movie of 2020.
But we'll get there.
We'll get there. But
Oh, God.
but anyway, 21 Jump Street is a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start loving it as much as I do until recently, but I think I do hold that movie a little bit higher than Avengers 1 in terms of just how well it's held up over the years, especially with like the newer Avengers movies that have come out since.
Yeah.
And
fair.
I just wanted to on top of that, just I didn't
Be
want every
different.
movie to be a Marvel movie on my list, so
Yeah.
all right, so that's my 2012. So
Okay.
moving on.
To the most interesting year of them all.
Yeah, because this is the year I was kind of alluding to earlier, where I felt like not a lot of stuff came out this year that I like loved. Like a lot of stuff came out this year that I liked, but like
See, here's
trying
the
to think of
thing.
a favorite is hard because there wasn't a lot of stuff I really like latched
As a
onto.
13-year-old, I love these movies.
Yeah,
But now I look back on them,
yeah.
I'm gonna go first. Minions suck. But back then I loved them.
Wait, what?
You're-
No, I hate you.
Oh
my pick is Despicable Me Too, but not
Yeah.
because of the Minions.
Yeah.
The villain in that movie is a Mexican food like restaurant owner.
Yeah, the
Who
only scene I
steals
remember
all
from
the
that movie is when
minions.
they're eating the freaking tortilla chip hats.
And the tortilla chip hats. He takes all the minions and make them purple to attack Gru.
You mean they made them purple to sell toys?
That too. Despicable
Wow.
Me 2 is the only Despicable Me movie I can respect.
What, really?
After like all the years have gone by, it's the best movie out of the three.
You know, I wouldn't.
I
have
think the
thought-
first one is the best out of the three because it was at least like a little bit, because Illumination in general, like, you know, they talk about like they want to make movies as cheap as possible, and there's a lot of stuff they do in their movies that's obviously just for marketing's sake. So
turning the minions purple.
So, like Despicable Me 1, I feel like is the movie I respect out of their like. I can't even really say that, but like out of all of their movies, that's the one. Because I liked Despicable Me 1 at the time. But just I don't know. I just don't see Despicable Me 2 as the same way.
No.
You even told me before we started filming this that Despicable Me 2 was your pick for that year, and I still was caught off guard when you said it.
I haven't even seen Despicable Me 3.
Neither have I.
Don't see it. It's
I
bad.
saw Despicable Me 2 once. I barely remember that movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and move on to my actual cinematic masterpiece, which
There was no masterpiece that year.
Oh, yeah.
I beg to differ, but
there was actually
we'll get to
two, and I can't...
Okay, then tell me.
So, I'm going to talk about Leonardo DiCaprio.
Well, okay,
which is an actor that I respect very highly. He deserved an Oscar back then for these movies that he did. I'm going to talk about my runner-up and this movie. My runner-up's Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it Wolf of Wall Street or Great Gatsby?
My actual pick is Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
Because they're amazing movies that came out that are way better than Despicable Me 2.
Like I said, this was based on my 13-year-old me. Like, I remember enjoying the movie.
Yeah.
Now, if I watched it, I would not enjoy it.
Yeah, see, that's... I told you, too. I'm basing it more on what I think of these movies now, looking back at the end of the
that's
decade,
what I did for most movies, but when looking for 13...
There
wasn't really many movies that I watched that I really, like... I'd go back and watch again.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be more like, think about what I wanted back then, what was more important back then to me.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was just more sophisticated as a 13-year-old.
You were,
Nicholas Jordan.
Your film taste was more mature than...
Yeah. Also, I saw a lot of movies I wasn't allowed to.
I saw Wolf of Wall Street on TV.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know they were going to play that on TV.
Yeah, well, it was, it was a TV edit, so... Actually, I think it was on HBO, so I think it was uncensored.
I mean,
So...
my family was not very, they didn't care that much. They actually... My dad let me go and see 21 Jump Street, when it came out in theaters.
Yeah. See, I watched it with my older cousins, because after that movie came out, they got it on DVD, and then... we watched it afterwards, and it was we were thinking oh, this is funny because it's we're not supposed to be watching this movie, because I was 12 years old.
Yeah, when he shot the penis out. What? You can't do that.
But like Wolf of Wall Street is even worse in that regard, and Great Gatsby isn't as bad.
No, Great Gatsby isn't really.
It's pretty tame, especially compared to Wolf of Wall Street. But...
Yeah, no, I love the more the characters there, the story.
Yeah.
It's based off of the novel, which is a classic.
Mm-hmm. That we had to read in high school.
Yeah. I
enjoyed it.
I saw the movie actually back then, and I was pretty confused, so then I rewatched it again. And it had Spider-Man in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's one of Tobey Maguire's last major roles.
What are you talking about, Boss Baby?
I was literally gonna say the only thing he's been in since then that I can think of is Boss Baby. So. Yeah.
No, yeah, I love those movies. I can still rewatch them today.
Yeah. You know what's weird to me? The image of Gatsby holding the glass up with the fireworks in the background that became famous from that movie. I'm pretty sure that shot isn't in the movie at all.
It is actually. It's the first time that what's Tobey Maguire's character name?
I don't remember.
Spider-Man.
Peter.
Yeah, so when it's the first time Peter Parker actually sees the Great Gatsby, and he turns around and he's like, I'm Gatsby.
Oh, okay. Because I remember watching it and looking for it and not seeing it.
I don't think the music plays.
Okay.
I don't remember what song plays, but it doesn't have the same audio as it does in the trailer, I think.
Yeah.
But that scene does happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not all zoomed in on his face and stuff like it is in the trailer.
Yeah.
And that's my knowledge on that. What is did you say your pick?
I have not, because I think this is the first time we've all had something different. So 2013, I like those movies. Well, not Despicable Me 2, but I like Wolf of Wall Street, and I like The Great Gatsby. For me, other than that, not a lot of good stuff came out, but something amazing came out that year. which I don't hear a lot of people talk about. It's directed by Ben Stiller, and it's called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty.
Oh,
it's
I know.
a movie
yeah.
about Ben Stiller, and he works for a magazine, and he has to go do stuff.
Yeah, that movie
Please
was actually
watch this movie.
amazing. I love that movie.
I haven't watched this movie in a long time, but I literally I think about it all the time. Just something, I don't know exactly what it is, but just something about this movie is like, I think it does sort of have to do with the style of it. But because there is like certain like cutaways where like it's like it's like he's like imagining certain things that he wants to do, or like how something would happen. Like I think there's like one time this guy's like being a jerk to him, and he like imagines like actually like fighting him or something in the elevator.
It's an epic fight.
But then it's like it's all in his head. But there is a lot of stuff in there. It's kind of about like him like breaking out of his bubble and like going out and doing stuff. That movie, I just remember. See, I can't even remember certain specifics about it. Just something about it just gives me like this weird like feeling. Like I think about that movie all the time. I really, really want to rewatch it. That movie is just like magical to me.
I keep forgetting that that's Ben Stiller. Like I know
Yeah.
I've seen that movie.
I always forget whether it's Ben Stiller or Steve Carell.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I know for a fact that I've seen that like at least twice.
Yeah. Sometimes I misremember certain scenes as being Steve Carell, but it's Ben Stiller.
Yeah, it was on FX.
And he's great in that movie.
I think I watched it on FX,
Yeah.
and then another time like my family was watching it or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a great watch.
Yeah. I really, really want to watch that movie again.
Okay, so before we move on to 14, one thing I do have to say is I'm surprised none of us said Frozen for 13.
Yeah, I mean, I like Frozen 2 better than Frozen 1.
I do like Frozen 2 better than Frozen 1, which kept me from picking Frozen.
Yeah.
But
and
I also don't have Frozen 2 on my list.
Well, yeah, I don't either.
Which makes me feel bad because like I like both the movies, but at the same time, they're not my favorite.
I'm really surprised that Nick picked Despicable Me 2 over Frozen 1 at least.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't like Frozen 1 back then.
I liked Frozen 1 back then, but I've never loved the first Frozen movie.
Yeah, it's not my favorite movie. Like,
yeah,
it just can't.
Well, then I guess that explains why none of us put it on our list, because none of us loved it.
Well, when I was looking at the movie, I just thought it was the top movie of that year.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
well, it was the top movie for a lot of other people, just
It'd
not
be
us.
in my top 5 for that year.
But it was top grossing movie of that year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, by far.
Oh, it's Disney.
Yeah.
Okay,
right.
so 14.
14, Gabe.
Oh.
You want to start us
Baba
off?
Yaga. John Wick, baby.
Oh, shit.
2014 John Wick coming in. That's all I gotta say, really.
Really?
Go see it. You have to.
That movie, like, reinvigorated Keanu Reeves' career, like, to a massive degree.
It took...
He's been on a roll since then.
Oh yeah. It's been... he had, like, his own year.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was the year of...
The year of Keanu. It was like, he was in Cyberpunk, he was in John Wick.
He was breathtaking.
He was breathtaking. I mean, Bill and Ted's coming out. He's in SpongeBob now.
He's in SpongeBob. He's in Bill and Ted.
Matrix 4.
Matrix and John Wick. All gonna be new
and
releases.
probably more stuff that we're forgetting.
So that's 2020.
But that wasn't that. Yeah, but that wasn't 2014. 2014 was the original John Wick.
2014 started a massive Keanu Reeves.
Keanu
wave.
Renaissance.
Yeah, yeah. It was just like pure action.
Yeah.
Nothing held.
You go to
back.
that movie to say fuck yeah and nothing
Yeah.
else.
You just want an adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
For like 2 hours straight.
Yeah, and that I loved like seeing John Wick 3 in the theater because that's exactly what happened. Like everyone just went like, oh, like.
Yeah, no. I mean, John Wick movies in my ranking. It's like it goes like 3, then 1, then 2.
Yeah,
I'll say
3 is my favorite too.
They're all basically like the same amount of action. I'd say.
Yeah,
they're not far off, and they're all great. And it's kind of like watching The Matrix, but only action scenes, and then
Morpheus doesn't come in until the second movie.
Yeah, and then you realize that it's not all fake, and this man could actually die.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's still a better fighter than Neo.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that's
pretty awesome. All right, Nick.
That's actually all I have to say about
yeah.
that.
All right, Nick, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
I'll go. Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah.
That's my runner-up.
Probably, in my opinion, the best action scenes in the MCU.
Yeah.
Totally such
totally.
a great movie.
That's one of my favorite MCU movies. Period.
The knife fight scene.
Yeah. And the elevator
I think
scene
if
too.
you took the Avenger movies out, it'd be my top movie.
Yeah. Because like they're such big movies. Captain America, that's definitely up in my favorite MCU movies. And there's so many of them, so it's like you know,
I mean,
there's so many.
This one is top with my favorite, other than a different movie later on this list.
That's definitely the MCU movie I rewatch the most, because I never don't find it exciting.
Because everything
I've never
about
not
it's
found
amazing.
it exciting.
I like the way that they went with the story too. Like, you know, have. Oh, can we spoil this? I don't know who hasn't
most
seen
likely
it.
everyone.
Yeah, but you know, Bucky coming back and the whole Hydra.
Yeah,
storyline.
It's so funny because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was like 1 season in when this movie came out, and then they're like, "Oh, S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't a thing anymore. What do we do now?"
Have you actually seen it?
No, but I know they work around
they
it.
worked they worked basically the background story of it.
Yeah.
So I think I would have thought that they didn't have that in mind, but I think they actually had that like planned the whole time, because it basically explains what was happening with S.H.I.E.L.D. Up until like they revealed in Winter Soldier that it was Hydra.
Yeah. That movie just that I feel like was the kickoff for me of the MCU becoming what it is now, where it's like
they broke away from the norm with that.
Yeah, because like everything before Winter Soldier I feel like is really good, but Winter Soldier I feel like is when everything gets great.
It was like their peak.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
because and also that's when the Russo brothers came in.
Yeah.
And then they did Civil War and the 2 Avengers movies. So, and they know what they're doing.
Yeah. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So what is your pick?
All right. So, as much as I love both of those movies, they're both runner-ups on my list.
Yeah.
Because I love both of them a lot.
I'm glad that like we all like these movies, but we're all picking some different ones sometimes.
Yeah. Keep the conversation interesting.
Yeah.
But I gotta give the 2014 favorite spot to one of my favorite animated movies of all time, the Lego Movie, the original one.
That's
Yep.
This
really good movie.
No argument there.
I remember seeing the trailer for this movie and just thinking like, oh, this is what my imagination as like a little kid would look like if you turned it into a movie. It's like you just go into the Lego bucket and you get all the freaking different like sets and everything, and you just make a crazy like story with all of it together. It was just so like, I remember like watching the trailer and being so excited about it, and then like going to see the movie like the day that it opened, and just like having that excitement like elevated even further.
It was an amazing movie.
Yeah, that movie
So
I
good.
feel like, especially again Phil Lord and Chris Miller, amazing directors. There's such a great energy to that movie. That's one of the funniest movies like ever that I've ever seen. I really like the humor in that movie. The animation, it's not stop motion, but it's made to look like Lego stop motion animation. Like every single shot in that movie, they kind of got away with this in the future Lego movies. Like they start to have like real water and real fog and stuff. Every single shot in this movie can be recreated with Legos. Like they made sure that there wasn't anything in the movie that couldn't be done if you were to build it with real Lego bricks, which I think is awesome. And then like the detail and everything, like everything has like fingerprints and scratches and everything. And just like kind of the way that like, you know, they do have bigger properties in here. Like they have references to like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings and DC superheroes and stuff, but they are kind of like silly versions of them. Like what they would be like in a kid's imagination.
Yeah, it's what a kid would do with them.
Yeah,
because it's like you know, it is revealed, you know, spoiler alert, I guess, at the end of this movie that it is all inside a kid's imagination, which is kind of something I feel like they messed up a little bit in Lego Movie 2 because they went a little bit too far with it. But I feel like it makes sense in this movie. And then just like, stuff like people are like, oh, how come Superman couldn't break free of like the gum? It's like, well, because the kid's making up the story, and that's necessary for Emmett to be the hero, for not Superman to not be able to just do everything for everyone.
Yeah, it was a really
can't forget
smart
the best part of the
movie.
entire movie, the theme song.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's really smart. It's got an amazing cast. They got the catchy song, which every good Lego movie needs.
Yeah.
Except the
And Lego Movie 2, I feel like even has a better catchy song.
That was their
Everything
point.
is awesome, but
Yeah.
that was.
I mean, that's only because they were lucky enough to have John LaJoie
oh my
write
god,
that song.
the god himself.
Yeah, the actual living legend.
Yeah.
John LaJoie, please watch this episode, and
please know that we appreciate you.
We love you. He makes the best songs
ever made in the world. So yeah, Lego Movie's my pick, and I'm sad because they stopped making money over the years, and Warner Brothers just decided they weren't going to do it anymore, and it's being like auctioned off, I guess, to other studios now, which is like, they might make good movies, but it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
That sucks.
Anyway,
Lego Movie is amazing.
Same exact crew that made.
Yeah, I doubt it. I read something that said they can't use the same characters, and since Warner Brothers isn't financing it anymore, not only can they not use the original characters, but they can't use the DC superheroes either. So that means no Lego Batman anymore.
What the heck?
I guess it's time to use Lego Marvel heroes.
No, that would mean that Disney would need to control it, and Disney owns enough IP as it is. You don't need a Lego tab on Disney Plus. So
holy crap!
I mean,
that's already just the Star Wars tab is the Lego Star Wars movies.
Okay.
All right, 2015.
You go first since you were talking about Star Wars.
Oh yeah, Star Wars: The Force Awakens came out in 2015, and it's my favorite Star Wars movie. I love this movie so much. I feel like it.
This is your pick, right?
Yes. Yes.
We're making sure.
It introduces.
I could have guessed.
Yeah, no, it introduces new
That's why I
stuff.
made him talk.
Yeah.
It introduces new stuff so well, to like the Star Wars universe. I really like. I mean, people complain about fan service in these movies. Looking back on them, I think it was nice, especially
There's
because
more fan service in 1 through 3 than 7 through 9.
And because. It's been, not only has it been so long since the last trilogy, it's been so long since the original trilogy, and this is a follow-up to the original trilogy. So, it was nice, after being away for so long to have certain, like, fan service-y moments, I guess. Yeah. And, I love the way that it evolves Star Wars forward. I love things that it sets up for the future. And just, I've rewatched this movie all the time. It's just, it never gets any less, like, exciting or, like, I still, seeing that movie, I think I might have seen episode 3 in theaters when it came out, but I would have been, like, really, really, really young. Yeah. This is the first Star Wars movie I saw in a theater that I can really remember, and there's just something so exciting about that I still feel every time I go back and rewatch it. I just, like, remember when this movie was first coming out and everyone was so excited about it.
And you hear the credit roll and everyone just like chills.
Yeah.
Silence throughout the room. It's like, okay, this is it.
Yeah. It's just really magical. I know I've been saying that
for the past 3 podcasts.
But it's just I don't know how else to describe it. It really does make me feel like a kid again, because Star Wars was such a big part of my childhood. So just having another Star Wars movie and having it be as good as it was just awesome. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, Gabe.
So that wasn't your pick, right, Nick?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I'm going to now give in and go with the Marvel movies just because.
You're giving in too soon.
I will have non-Marvel movies, obviously, but I'm trying
after this year is like the years of Marvel.
I'm trying. Yeah. Well, I knew that you guys were gonna go. With
I'm surprised that 2015 is your year for Marvel, though.
Well, just because I'm thinking, like, what did I watch the most? What did I find the most important?
Yeah, that's true.
Which would be Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that's interesting.
Yeah. It's definitely, like, not the best Avengers movie.
Yeah.
But I watched it a lot when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the things that they did with like the characters, the story.
Mm-hmm.
Quicksilver.
Yeah. Well, that was sad.
I liked Quicksilver way better in the X-Men movies.
I like Quicksilver for the 5 minutes he was alive.
Spoiler.
Yeah, Age of Ultron doesn't rank very highly on my Marvel list, but I still enjoy certain things about it. I really like Vision's introduction in that movie.
Yeah, Vision was a big part of me picking this.
Yeah.
Just because I love him as a character.
Mm-hmm. And it sets up things pretty good for the future.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
it was a start of
yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
the Infinity Stones. Kind of, because Vision...
Yeah, well, see, that was the first time you kind of got the idea that like they were all gonna come together at some point.
Yeah. You had Scarlet Witch, who came like from the Mind Stone, also like their powers came from the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
Vision had the Mind Stone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm not as big a fan of this movie as its own movie, but I really like what it sets up, and I feel like the future movies are better for this movie. Like,
Yeah.
just the payoff of certain things and the way certain things evolve. Please.
It was an accident.
I'm going to fire you.
You can't.
This is not a job. We are not getting paid for this, but I will fire you.
We're gonna mute all of Nick's
Yeah,
parts.
Just bleep him out.
Yeah, and then just cut the entire conversation about the burp every time afterwards.
Yeah. Let's delete Nick from the podcast.
Yeah, we'll just erase his face from it. It'll be like he was never even
You
here.
hear that? I can go to bed, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
At home. At your house.
Okay.
Y'all go. All right, Nick.
Forever.
Okay, you went with a beginning. He went with a middle. I'm going with an end. Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2.
Really? Wow, okay.
Yeah. That was a good one.
That was a really iconic movie.
Yeah,
for me.
I was honestly, when I look back on it, I was kind of disappointed there wasn't a Hunger Games on my list. But
Yeah, I'm surprised.
yeah, because I like those movies, but
I
like we said, it's hard to
like.
pick
I like
between a lot of movies.
Like, for the 4 Hunger Games movies, the first one and the fourth one are my favorites.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I skipped Mockingjay Part 1 because I read the book and I figured it was just gonna be like Deathly Hallows, where it's just filler until they get to the real meat of the story.
What it was.
Yeah.
Like,
but,
I don't I remember watching Mockingjay Part 1, but I don't remember it at all.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. But Mockingjay Part 2, I feel like
you always have to go with the part 2.
Yeah, well, yeah, because especially because when there is an ending to a story like that, it is a big deal and it does have a really big emotional impact on you. So,
yeah. This movie, I just like because it portrayed like a proper rebellion.
Yeah.
Like in a movie that we haven't seen in a long time since probably Star Wars Episode 6.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just really refreshing to see in a movie again.
Yeah, and I really like the way it ends.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to spoil that here because that's not. I mean,
Not
even though Hunger Games was a really big franchise,
It's
like,
not now, so like
yeah, and like there's
They were-
certain people that might still not have seen it. I just
Yeah.
really like the way.
No,
it ends.
I
was
was
a great
that's like one of the
ending.
series I'd actually recommend watching. Like
Yeah,
reading
because
and
there's not that
watching.
many too.
Yeah,
There's only 4 movies.
I
So-
regret not like finishing the books because I've only read
Yeah,
like 2.
I finished the books.
I mean, I think I will end up going and finishing them eventually, but it's a really good series.
Mm-hmm. All right, so 2016.
You know, I'm still not even sure about this one.
Are you gonna start us off?
You can.
We're gonna go Captain America: Civil War.
Yeah.
Me too. That's my.
Chris?
Do you guys want to talk about that for a little?
I
was very, very, very close to
See,
making
Is
this
that
my
your
number one.
runner-up?
It is my runner-up,
Yeah.
but it's not my pick. But you guys talk about Civil War first.
Well, I definitely liked it more than Age of Ultron. It was the introduction of Spider-Man,
oh yeah,
which is
that's
and
big for me.
The introduction of Black Panther,
basically. Yeah.
the Iron Man Captain America fight,
Yeah, see,
the
that's
airport scene. There's just so much good stuff in
Yeah,
this movie.
that's the thing. That's when the Russos proved that they could make Infinity War and Endgame work.
Because they already
Because
made
so
an
much had to
Avengers
happen
movie.
in those movies, but they made so much happen in Civil War, to where you could there's so much happening in that movie, so many different characters and so many different plot lines. but it never feels overwhelming and you never feel lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they keep the story flowing straight forward.
Because literally, it's a sequel to Civil War with Bucky's story, plus Zemo is the villain behind all of it, plus it's the introduction of Black Panther and Spider-Man.
It's rumored that our boy Zemo is gonna be the villain.
Oh no, it's confirmed.
It's confirmed.
He's gonna be in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
So it even sets up that.
Yeah, true.
Civil War is just like a giant setup for everything.
Yeah.
Like, it works.
And that was the kickoff to Phase 3, and Phase 3 I feel like is the best phase of Marvel by far.
Yeah.
So, and that was a great way to start it off.
Yeah, I just know, like, I remember feeling the anticipation for that movie back then.
Mm-hmm.
So there were great movies that came out, but I had to pick that one also. I had to give in to Marvel.
Yeah.
See, my runner-up was also Marvel. It was Deadpool. And, like,
I really wanted to pick Deadpool.
I wanted to pick Deadpool, but at the same time, Captain America Civil War just has a much better overall story.
Yeah.
And it's more entertaining to keep watching it again. Cause
Yeah,
Deadpool,
exactly.
If you watch it again, you already know the jokes. You know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's a love story and quotation marks.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I feel about Avengers, too, is that a lot of the thing, like the first Avengers movie, like a lot of the thing that makes that movie, like, work with, like, when they're not doing as much is the comedy.
But you know,
but once you've seen it a few times, you know the jokes. So
yeah.
But Civil War is a great movie. Yeah. It was close to being my pick. La La Land was also close to being my pick. But then I remembered that last year I watched a movie for the first time called Hunt for the Wilder People by Taika Waititi, and that instantly became one of my favorite movies of all time.
Wow.
I don't know. I neither have you guys seen that movie.
Nope.
So
I don't know if I've even heard of it.
basically, it's a movie about this kid that keeps getting moved from foster family to foster family because he's a troublemaker, and then he ends up with this one family, and his foster dad wants nothing to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
But then I guess this isn't really a spoiler because it kind of happens in the very beginning of the movie. Basically, something happens and they end up on the run from like other like hunters and the police in like the woods for like several months. And it sounds like it would be dark, but you know it's Taika Waititi, so it's very much like a lighthearted movie with a lot of really good comedy, but like tinged with like sort of like tragic moments. But they still the comedy doesn't detract from that. Just something about the relationship between the kid and his foster dad in this movie and the way that it grows over time like really really works for me. I really like the tone of the movie and the pacing. Just I like as soon as I watched this movie, it's like even like hard to explain everything that I really love about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just as soon as I finished watching this movie, I wanted to watch it again.
Yeah.
It's just really 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 entertaining.
I really love like movies like that are very like driven. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like those movies we saw, like Green Book and
Like the Oscar movies.
Yeah,
of,
Black Klansman, all those movies. They were really like well made, story driven,
character driven.
Yeah,
especially.
yeah.
Yeah.
They were very, very well made movies.
Mhm.
That kind of reminds me of those movies.
Yeah, but I ever since I first watched Hunt for the Wilder People, I've been recommending it to basically everyone. So
Guess I gotta watch it now.
I can't recommend you guys watch that movie enough. That movie's amazing.
Okay.
Now we get on to the hardest year of all of these.
So I'm gonna start because same director as your last movie.
Mm.
You know, Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I've rewatched that movie so many times, and I feel like I can still rewatch it so many
Me
more
too.
times. So it's like, it's got to be my movie of the year.
Yeah.
And Thor is by far my favorite superhero after that movie.
That movie
reinvented-
single-handedly redeemed Thor.
Yeah.
He was getting like even Chris Hemsworth thought he was getting boring, but that movie just completely
It did
reinvigorated
more
him.
than like redeemed him. It
Yeah.
created a
Recreated
new
him.
character.
Yeah. That just shares
entirely.
the same name. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing like from the comics. It's nothing from the old movies.
Mm-hmm. And I like that, especially that movie is essentially Thor Ragnarok mixed with Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
Because they, Universal still has some of the rights to Hulk, So they're like, we can't make a Hulk movie, but we can make a Hulk movie part of this movie and make it even better.
Like, that worked because I've always thought to myself, like, when Thor 1 and 2 came out, I was like, Thor in a movie alone, is that gonna work?
Mm-hmm.
And same thing for Hulk. Hulk in a movie alone, is that really gonna work?
Yeah.
And we saw it didn't at all.
Yeah.
But when Ragnarok came out and Hulk and Thor were like buddies,
yeah,
that worked because they're both kind of dumb, but at the same time super smart.
Yeah.
And Thor's gonna work well with the Guardians too, because I feel like he works in an environment of people.
Yeah.
Maybe by himself it could get, I mean, definitely the way that it used to go with the old Thor movies. It just kind of gets like boring.
Yeah.
Repetitive.
I feel like the old Thor movies took themselves, like, less so Thor 1, but I feel like Thor 2 especially took itself way too seriously.
Yeah.
Oh,
like, it was trying to be like an epic fantasy thing, like something like Lord of the Rings, but it just
didn't work.
It just didn't work. It was boring and not interesting at all.
It's not a very built.
This movie is literally the exact opposite of Thor 2, and that's all I wanted from it.
Yeah.
So, Gabe, is that your pick too?
Nope.
What is your pick?
Man, he's got the looks. He's got the moves. It's
The Law?
Yeah. VGHS came out in 2017, and that is my.
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't. Baby Driver.
Ooh, interesting.
I instantly loved that movie when I saw it.
So did I.
Yeah. I really just like. I can't stress how much I want to rewatch it right now.
Yeah.
It's.
If it wasn't 3 a.m, then I would be totally down to watch it after this.
I'm still down.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? It's pretty fresh because I saw it very recently.
Yeah.
For the first time.
Didn't we watch it together?
You
for
showed
the first
it
time?
to me. You showed it to me for the first time.
Because I found out you'd never seen it. I was like, oh shit, you gotta watch it.
Yeah, we put it off for a little while, but we finally got down to watching it, and it was great. The Baby is one of my favorite characters, just like from anything.
Yeah.
I love the way that the story like started, how they developed it, and how they ended it. I thought the ending was pretty fitting.
Yeah. The thing that's funny, or not funny, it's like sort of uncomfortable to me now too, is that Kevin Spacey, in that movie is kind of like, I don't know. I mean, you know, especially learning stuff about him after the fact, like Kevin Spacey in real life. I mean, just going back and watching that and taking lines out of context, is just like, it's just gross.
I try to disregard that.
Yeah. Just take the movie for what it was at the time rather than what it is retroactively.
Yes.
Because it's still a great movie even with that. So.
Yeah, that's Baby Driver.
That's Baby Driver.
The music also. You gotta say that.
Yeah. See, that's Edgar Wright. He's just pulling out all the stops with the stylization. It's basically an action musical, but not in like a way where like they break out into song. It's just like action scenes are going along to a soundtrack in the background, which is awesome.
So well put together.
Yeah. So
what is your pick?
So I'm mostly. So I really, really, really. I keep saying that a lot. I need to find out. I need to have a better way off the top of my head to sort of emphasize something. But I really liked my pick for this year. I loved it, actually. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of movies that I loved in 2017. And I'm sort of picking this for the sake of variety, but also just because it's a movie that I think about all the time. And it's one of my best experiences I've ever had seeing a movie in a theater before. So I was very surprised that my 2017 pick would not be a Marvel movie. Because Spider-Man Homecoming came out in 2017. Ragnarok came out and Guardians of the Galaxy 2 came out. And I was like expecting right off the bat I was going to pick Spider-Man Homecoming. But sort of for the sake of variety and also just because I really love it, I'm going with Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, I thought you kind of mentioned that before, and then I completely forgot about it.
That movie was especially at the time that I saw it, and I know I'm saying like this is that the thoughts are mainly based on what I think about them looking back. But I still feel the same way about it. Just when I first saw that movie, that was like I'd never seen anything like it in a theater before.
Mm-hmm.
It's very like quiet and understated. Like the trailers sort of make it look like an action movie, and I had not seen the original Blade Runner before I saw this movie, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. But I heard it was really good. So I went to go see it in the theater, and it's almost 3 hours long, and it's very quiet, and the pacing is really slow, but the world of it is just so incredible. Like I've gone back and watched the first Blade Runner since then, and I really love that movie too. But just the way they have this cyberpunk world with like what we're able to do now in like modern cinema with like both practical and CGI, just the way they bring it to life is so incredible to see on the screen. And there's just something about it. I'm not even really sure what it is. It's just so unique, and I can't even really explain it. I really want to watch that movie again because I haven't seen it in a while. But I think about that movie all the time, and it's one of my favorite movies ever made. Oh yeah, Roger Deakins did the cinematography for it, and he is pretty much solidified himself as my favorite cinematographer because not only does this movie look beautiful. I just saw 1917 a couple days ago, and he did the cinematography for that too. That movie looks amazing.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't have a lot else to say about Blade Runner other than the fact that I love everything about it, especially the visuals and the score.
Cool. I never finished it.
And the uniqueness of it. You watched it, but you didn't finish it?
No. That's all I have to say about
it.
Not by choice, but I had to.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just like, this is lame, and then you just turned it off.
It's not even that like I like fell asleep or anything because it was exciting, but I think I was just like busy. I had to go somewhere.
Yeah.
We have it on DVD, so I will watch it.
I have it on DVD too.
Yes, I will end up watching it.
We got a 2018. I have a feeling Marvel took this year.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right, Gabe?
Yes,
am I right?
Come on.
Yeah.
But which way did you go though?
See, this is very difficult for me.
I want Gabe to go first.
Spider-Verse.
Yep.
Spider-Verse beat Infinity War.
Yeah. See, Infinity War is incredible. I really love that movie. It's one of my runner-ups on my list, but
it is my runner-up.
Spider-Verse is like, that movie is unlike any animated movie ever made. And not only is it like, because it's like it has that going for it, not only is it an incredible movie even having that removed, but just the style of it is so like unique and beautiful. And it's like one of those things where like it's a comic book movie that feels like a living, like moving comic book. And I feel like everyone has said that about that movie, but it bears repeating. Like that
they made a
visuals of that movie just can't be understated.
Yeah, I think it just like there's very basic pillars of a movie that you need to hit. You got like your style, your soundtrack, your rewatchability, your story, characters. They hit everything.
Yeah,
perfectly.
Yeah. Like I remember they released the trailer for that movie, the first teaser for it, like a year before the movie came out, and I just heard Sony was doing like an animated Miles Morales movie, and I just thought like it was gonna be like basically the same level of quality as something like a Disney XD TV show.
Yeah.
Because Sony beforehand with their independent Spider-Man projects, I didn't have a lot of faith in them with this, but as soon as I saw that trailer, I'm like, okay, I'm sold. Like this, it looked so good, and I just loved like the vibe of it and the world. And something I was worried about too, as more stuff came out about the movie, because I was pretty much on the thought process that it was going to be just Miles and Peter, basically like the Spider-Man comic book storyline. And that is a part of this, but then I heard like other Spider people were going to be a part of it, and there was going to be like a lot of people from other Spider dimensions, and I was like, I just don't want this to like get messy and take away from Miles's story, but it is still very much Miles's story at the end of it. He's like the focus of it, and I think that was smart because the other characters like they add to the story, and they add to the comedy.
They use it to build his character development.
Yeah.
You can't even forget about the music.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, yeah. The music was they got great artists coming in.
Yeah, we were talking about it in the car ride on the way home. Like Sunflower came on.
And I have the
Tyler was like,
soundtrack
Nick, isn't this
downloaded.
on your playlist? And I was like, yeah.
I have like most of Spider-Verse on my playlist.
I have all of it. I downloaded the whole playlist immediately.
Mm-hmm. Just everything about that movie is just incredible. I said, I don't know whether I mentioned this earlier. I think I said Lego Movie is one of my favorite animated movies of all time. It's second to this movie. This movie instantly became my favorite animated movie when I saw it. And Infinity War is incredible. I feel like just the uniqueness of Spider-Verse and the fact that Infinity War isn't as impactful if you haven't seen the other Marvel movies is...
I think there's also the thing with Infinity War, like, I can't rewatch it anymore.
Yeah, it's such a dense movie, and it's such a big thing to where, like, after you've seen it a few times, it's just, there's so much going on in it to where, like, I kind of find myself, like, skipping to the parts that I enjoy the most.
Yeah, basically the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, I would not get rid of anything... I would not get rid of anything in that movie. It's just not a movie you can rewatch as often. But anyway,
let's finish these movies.
So I know.
Oh yeah, this is our last movie.
I'll start
rating.
this one. Yeah, I didn't pick Infinity War 1 because the Spider-Verse was such like a unique thing for the time, and also because I knew that I was gonna pick Endgame.
Me too.
2019.
Yeah.
So 2019 pick is Endgame. It was one of the only movies I can say that had so much anticipation and then lived up to the hype.
Yeah. And like I know I said like just now, like 2 seconds ago, that Spider-Verse was above Infinity War because one of the reasons is like, you know, it is more impactful if you've seen the other ones. And this movie is even more so that way. But I feel like it's such a great, like, out of all the finales we've talked about so far, like, it's just such an amazing payoff.
Culmination of everything.
And, like, especially because after Infinity War's ending, like, it handles that tragedy really well.
Yeah.
In the beginning of it. And then just the way that it, like, rewards fans that have been around for a long time and have, like, paid attention to certain things in the movie. That movie is just perfect for what it is.
I mean, like we've said before, the part 2s of endings are always the
because
better
that's
half.
always like, it's even though Infinity War was very much like that too. You know, it very much was part 1 of the story, and then part 2 is when you get the real like closure and the real like stuff that like hits really really hard emotionally. Like Endgame is one of the only times I've ever cried in a movie theater.
So you're both Endgame?
Yes.
I'm Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, see,
and
I knew
been
that.
over this.
Yeah.
Like, in
That's
the
my
last
runner-up.
episode.
Yeah.
Definitely, but...
Just because, like, for you guys, Marvel was, like... I don't know, culminating Marvel was, like, a big thing. But for me, Star Wars, culminating all of Star Wars was a huge thing. Mm-hmm. And even if it wasn't a perfect movie, like, nothing could be perfect.
Yeah.
I went into the movie theater, like, with low expectations, because I was like...
A lot of people were saying that it wasn't that good.
But I came out, like, the entire movie, I was happy watching it.
Yeah.
And that was the same thing with Endgame. I was happy watching the movie, but, like, I had a different feeling during Rise of Skywalker that you guys probably had more during Endgame.
Yeah.
Like,
well, see, I was really... sort of, I felt a similar excitement watching Rise of Skywalker that I did in Endgame. It's just, I feel like Endgame was more impactful to me as a finale because it was very much a finale movie from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Whereas Rise of Skywalker it's a contained movie with a finale at the end.
I'm still hoping we get the JJ cut.
Yeah. But it is very much a contained movie until the ending when it is very much like the battle to end all battles. Whereas, Endgame is sort of like a joyride through the rest of Marvel's history.
Yeah.
Where, like, basically every single little thing gets some sort of payoff. And, that doesn't necessarily make it, like, obviously you need to watch the other movies for this movie to be as impactful, but just, I think this movie was it could have been handled, like, it could have been so much messier.
Yeah.
I just think it was handled perfectly for what it needed to be, and it closed off that chapter of the MCU flawlessly.
I'm just like Endgame. Like, Endgame is just like Deathly Hallows Part 2 or Mockingjay Part 2 and Rise of Skywalker. They're all finales, and I think based on the fan that you are of those, like, specific series, is how that ending is going.
Yeah, that's
like a bigger
because I was
Harry
more
Potter
consistently fan. Like I was more consistently attached to Marvel.
Like a bigger
than I
Harry
was
Potter
to Star
fan
Wars,
would
but
have those feelings we had with Endgame and Rise of Skywalker during Deathly Hallows Part 2.
That's what I'm gonna say.
We
like,
would.
I'm just a bigger
I'm a
Marvel
bigger
fan
Star
than
Wars
I
fan
am
than Marvel.
Yeah, I'm a bigger Marvel fan than I am of Star Wars.
Yeah, see, those are on very, very similar levels for me. But just in terms of, like, these movies, Endgame got me, like, the most excited out of any movie that I've seen in a long time. So yeah. Well, I totally get that, but
I'm gonna say this one time. Fuck the 2010s decade. They ended everything.
Well, see, but that's the thing. We had so many great series
but they all
this
ended.
decade. All good things have to come to an end eventually, so we can have more good things next
yeah,
decade.
we're gonna have amazing.
The 20s are gonna have to start everything. It's
I mean,
so weird
well,
saying
good.
that we're in the 20s now.
Yeah, I know.
But
that's
we have
good though,
amazing
because we'll have new things to latch
coming out.
onto.
And then
And they'll still be Marvel. There'll still be Star Wars.
2040, they're gonna end everything again.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
That's
because
right.
I'd rather them be good contained things with good endings than go on forever and just never end and get bad like SpongeBob did. So.
But now SpongeBob has a Keanu Reeves. So.
Yeah, so obviously they've redeemed that. That was a bad example, and I'm sorry. So those are our movies of the decade. Now we're gonna get into the video games, which was even though there are certain years where I was like really having a hard time picking which one I was gonna pick. I think this was considerably easier in terms of choices than movies, which we already talked about. So, 2010. Who wants to start?
All right, so I'll start with a game that I played a lot in 2010, and that is BioShock 2.
Ooh.
Actually, yeah.
I didn't know you played BioShock.
Yeah, I never played Infinite, but I played.
I played
first
1
two.
and Infinite.
Yeah,
but I
played
didn't
the
beat
first
either of them.
2 all of the time because I really love the way that I love the story of BioShock in general, and then the gameplay is really fun. I love the little powers you can get.
Yeah, and you get to play as Big Daddy in BioShock 2, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Like, it was just a really.
It sounds fun.
it was just a fun game in general to play all the time.
Yeah.
I played it like with my brother. We did like the platinum. Try to get the platinum on PlayStation.
Yeah. One of the only game I've ever platinumed is a game that's later down on my list.
The only game I've ever platinumed is one of the Little Big Planet games.
Oh, yeah. All right, so
that's that. BioShock 2.
That's that. All right, Nick, you want to go?
Yeah. So back then, this is when I only played Pokemon. These first few. So this was when Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, which are arguably some of the best games. And same with the next 2 picks. So of course I had to pick that. And it's just you had Pokemon following you. There were 2 regions in that game. It was a remake of one of the best. So,
Yeah.
I played that so much as a kid. I actually had a Soul Silver copy and played it so much, and I lost it. Oh. And I got so pissed off, so I went to GameStop and I bought a Heart Gold.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I still
have not Gold. Great that you lost Soul Silver, but good that you were committed enough to replay it.
I saw this for 10, and I was pretty sure you're gonna pick that.
Yeah. So I guess from now on we'll just do it in this order, with Gabe first, Nick second, me last. Because I don't.
For 11, 12, I want to go back to back.
Okay.
Trust me.
Just because I feel like for games we probably won't have the same stuff most of the time. You guys can probably easily predict what my 2010 pick was. It's the sequel to my favorite game of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Super Mario Galaxy 2.
2. Yeah.
I have said in my video on Mario Galaxy on my channel that I don't think it's as good as the first one, just because the atmosphere isn't really there. But the level design is some of the best in the entire Mario series. Mario is like the king of like 3D platformers and just platformers in general. And this game has some of the best 3D Mario levels ever created. This kind of started the thing where like every single, I mean, Galaxy had this too, but I feel like when I think about the fact that like Mario levels, it sort of became like every single level was like its own world with a completely different theme.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is mostly the one that I think about. And also it started like, I don't know, it started like the way that Mario levels were designed, I feel like was influenced by Galaxy 2 from this point forward. And it's just everything in this game is just really, really fun. I was so excited for this game because I loved the first one so much, and then I got this one as soon as it came out, and I played it so much, and I didn't 100% it until recently, but I've been going back to it consistently since it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, Super Mario Galaxy 2 was one of my 2 runner-ups, which I have that, which is a game that I think I'd like more if my brother let me play it.
Mario Galaxy.
He was always playing it.
Yeah.
So then I couldn't play it as much.
I used to ask people to play co-op with me, but it was only like the little Luma.
Thing. Yeah, that's all he'd let me do.
Yeah, I was like, even I knew most people would probably think it was lame, but I just wanted people to play with me.
I still thought it was fun because I wanted to play.
Yeah.
So that's most of the gameplay I've gotten out of that.
Yeah.
And then also Civ 5 came out that year.
Oh yeah.
Which is a game I've played more recently than back. I didn't even have it back then. But
yeah.
I played it recently and it's very fun.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever played a Civ game.
They're very addicting.
Mm-hmm. What the? I'm not even gonna say out loud what Tyler just did.
Okay,
but we can't prove anything.
I don't even
prove anything. Tyler isn't even here.
Yeah, are we even here? 2011, baby, the best game ever made. Hello Traveler, Elder Scrolls 5, Skyrim.
Easy prediction for me.
I play it all the time.
You still play that game. We were freaking watching the Star Wars movies for our review.
I was playing
and
it
you
on the
were
Switch.
trying to hide in the corner and play Skyrim on your Switch.
I just love the fact that they won't let this game die out.
Yeah, literally every year it gets like a new re-release.
Yep, every time it gets released on something, I'm like, oh, I have to get it on this console, start a new character, play it all the way through.
Did you play it on the Alexa?
I will. I actually thought I saw the plugin or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I'll get into that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Skyrim is it's my favorite game. I've been playing a lot of Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you finally have that game.
I'm very glad I finally have that game, which is very comparable to Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing's more iconic for me.
Yeah.
As a game.
I totally get that.
Okay, you go, Chris.
Okay. This was a very, very hard year for me because literally 2 of my favorite games, literally in my top 5 favorite games, 2 of them came out this year.
Yeah, I think I know what you're going with because
I wrote down one game as my game of the year and I wrote my runner-up as the other one. But I think I'm going to change my mind.
Yeah.
Because I can't bring myself to not make it my pick. Little Big Planet 2.
Yeah.
Is my favorite game of 2011. Portal 2.
Portal 2
was the one I was going to say. I love both of these games so much. They're both genius in so many different ways. But just something about, I think the thing that made me change my mind about Little Big Planet 2 is just the fact that I spent so many hours making levels with the creation tools, and it was like, you know, I'm working towards like making games for a living eventually. So just the fact that like that game was one of the things that really got me into like learning about like level design and how things work together in a game is just a really big deal to me. Plus it's one of the games I played the most with like friends and siblings and stuff. It had a really, really big impact on me. And Portal 2 is an incredible game, and it's one that I played a ton, but I feel like just in terms of the overall like impact that it had on me, I couldn't not pick Little Big Planet 2.
That was Little Big Planet 2 was the one that I platinumed.
Yeah.
On PlayStation.
Yeah.
I played it also like all the time.
Yeah.
But
that was definitely like one of my most, and that was one of the first games I ever pre-ordered. Mm-hmm. And when it got delayed, I was so sad. But then there was a demo that they released. Yeah. As like an apology for delaying the game. So the day the game was originally supposed to come out, they released a demo, and I was like, "Oh my god, I finally get to play Little Big Planet 2." Yeah. All right, so that's my pick, Nick.
Okay, so for this pick, these are actually both like my two top Pokemon games of all time. Mm-hmm. The first is 2011, which is Black and White, mm-hmm. which to me had the new like. It sucked that they didn't let you use older Pokemon. Yeah. But they had the best designs out of all the new, like Pokemon.
I hear that a lot talking about Black and White.
And like they had the only good story out of the whole Pokemon game. And then
I never pay attention to the story in the Pokemon games.
No,
I've never played Black and White, so I wouldn't know about that.
The only game that the characters matter much, other than Sword and Shield, mm-hmm. like everything about Black and White was like what I want Pokemon to be, but Game Freak won't do it.
Yeah. But they have done it in the past.
Yeah, and then that moves on to 2012, which is Black and White 2, which they take all of these already built story, and then build onto it 2 years later.
I didn't realize that Black 2 and White 2 came out the next year.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either.
Yeah, I would like to point out that a higher power named Tyler, who might or might not be in the rooms, told me that that's actually like 4 games within 2 years.
Fine,
it's Black and White and Black 2 and that White.
Counts. Pokemon Black and Black 2, because I didn't have White. Actually, I did have White.
Racist.
I mean, that's kind of racist.
I mean, I don't want to be that guy, but
I'm not gonna be that
They're
guy.
They're basically one game.
That's what I was saying. They count.
Yeah,
that counts as if you want to put all of them on there, but you know.
I didn't care that much.
Gabe, do you want to go for your 2012?
Yeah, I'll talk about a game I mentioned here before, which is called FTL, Faster Than Light. It came out in 2012, which I played a lot still right now. It's just a very fun strategy game. Space.
I feel like we talked about this a few podcasts ago.
We did.
I did.
Like the first one, maybe.
I don't know. I think it was the second or something like that. It was just one of the games I was talking about playing recently because I got back into it. Because
in the last 3 episodes, we didn't talk about what we've been playing. So.
Yeah, it was one of those older ones. But
it's only been 5.
You know all about that game now. It's very fun.
Yeah. I did not play a lot of new games in 2012. I think the games, even my picks, like my top picks for 2012 were games that I didn't even like play until a few years after, because I think pretty much 3DS came out in 2012. I think it was 2012. It might have actually the Wii U came out in 2012. 3DS came out in 2011, I think. But like the only new games I played in the 2012 were like the new Super Mario Brothers games and like Nintendo Land. But there are a couple of very good games that came out in 2012 that I had a hard time picking in between. So those 2 games are Fez and Journey, both really good indie games. I'm picking Journey as my pick though, because that was one of like, that's one of the games people like to use a lot in the argument of like video games are art, which I feel like shouldn't even be an argument, but uh, that game is one of the first times I played a game that was actually like, sort of like an emotional experience without having any sort of like dialogue or anything. Because I didn't, when I was younger, I didn't really play a lot of more story-driven games. Like a lot of the stuff I played was pretty simple, in terms of its narrative. And Journey is very abstract in terms of what the story is supposed to be, but just the way that it presents itself, it goes back and forth between like whether it's gonna be like a lot of times it is quiet, but then it gets more intense, and you actually, like, if you get hit, you sort of like feel the weight of the character more. And that was something I didn't feel a lot in games, because usually it's just, oh, you die, you try again. If you get hit, there isn't a lot of times you encounter things that can hurt you in this game, but like if you do get knocked down, it's like you almost like you see your character like get knocked around and like struggle to get back up. And like there's a part of the game where like the weather gets more intense and you're sort of like trekking through it, and it's getting more difficult to move. And I sort of, even though the character never speaks at all in the whole game, and you're not even really sure what the story is supposed to be other than like what you put together in your own head, I felt so connected to it the whole time, and I beat the whole thing in an afternoon. And I just I couldn't even describe it when it was over. It was such an amazing experience. And I have played games that sort of try to do the same thing since. I'm not saying like those games try to copy Journey. I'm just saying like I did very much see like they were sort of going for the same thing that Journey was going for, but Journey is very much the game in that style that impacted me the most.
Mm-hmm.
Fez is really good too. But
yeah, Fez is great.
But I had to pick Journey for 2012.
Journey was pretty big then. Like a lot of people were playing it, talking about it. I remember seeing like 4 different.
I went to my first convention like the year after, and like one of the like people were cosplaying as the character from Journey.
That's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so wait, we've all said our 2012 picks?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. It's 3:30 even now. So okay. I'm trying to make sure we keep things on track.
So
okay. Are you gonna go 13, or are we just gonna go this way?
I don't know. I'll just go.
Okay.
13 is a game I still play all the time now. GTA 5, baby.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
yeah. That's the GTA 5 song.
No, I think that's like...
That's the San Andreas song.
Andreas.
I could tell what you were going for. Yeah, my pick is also GTA 5. 2013 was also a hard year for me because The Last of Us came out and Pikmin 3 came out, and those are both also some of my favorite games. But GTA 5, again, it's another like first for me in games. It was like one of those things where like it was just kind of like, it was the open world of it, and just the fact that you could go anywhere and do anything you wanted. And like I had so much fun playing that game with friends and just like messing around, and like because that game does have a good campaign, but people don't play GTA for the campaign.
You play GTA Online.
Yeah, you play it for the fun you can have in the open world, and especially in GTA 5, you play it for the online multiplayer.
Yeah, and that wasn't really a 2013 thing. That was more
I think it came out like the month after, but it didn't become
it wasn't as
good
big because they have now they have the heists, they have a bunch of like spy things. They have like super cool jetpack flying cars.
Yeah. And I feel like every time they announce a new expansion for GTA Online, everyone's like, where's GTA 6?
They're never gonna make it.
It's gonna take them freaking... I mean, how long has it been since GTA 5 came out? Like
7
years this year.
Yeah.
So, and they just came out with Red Dead 2, so I think GTA 6 is still a ways off, but we'll see. But GTA 5 is amazing, and I've had so much fun with that game. So I even though I loved a bunch of other games that came... Well, not even a bunch, just The Last of Us and Pikmin mostly. But even though I really, really loved those games, I had to go with GTA 5.
So this one was rough for me because I never played GTA 5 because I never had a PlayStation or Xbox. So I was at this point where I didn't want to put another Pokemon game because, one, I didn't even like X and Y. So why would I put it?
Y was my first Pokemon game, and I really, really liked it.
But after playing Black and White and Black 2 and White 2, I didn't like X and Y.
Yeah.
And that was just how it was. So, this is a game I started playing recently because of someone in this room. Lego Marvel Superheroes.
Oh, you're welcome.
No, I wasn't talking about you.
Oh, well, I mean,
He's probably talking about Tyler.
Were we playing it together? Like,
He's the one that told me about it.
That's the first one. The first
Lego
Marvel
together.
Superheroes?
Yeah, because that was
Okay.
2013.
He's not the one who told you about it. You were playing
No,
Lego.
I downloaded Lego because of him. He was telling me about Lego Marvel Superheroes before
Yeah,
that.
But
No,
you
Gabe,
downloaded
It
DC.
wasn't you. It
You
was
downloaded DC.
Yeah, I
not
was on a
Marvel.
call with him when I bought both Marvel 1 and 2.
Nah, I don't know. I was playing it. I was
wasn't
playing
you.
it
It
when
wasn't
you
you.
only had
It wasn't
DC.
you. Okay, 14, go.
Moving on.
Okay, so 14.
You don't have anything to say about Lego Marvel other than who got you into playing it.
Yeah, what?
Well,
You're not
I-
going to talk about how good it was?
It's very good. I play as Hulk and I go boom boom pa.
He plays Hulk.
And that's
out of everyone?
essentially all you need to know
And Spider-Man.
about Lego
very
Marvel
good.
superheroes.
Spider-Man, very good. He
Yeah.
goes whip whip.
I haven't played a Lego game in a long time, but I'm looking forward to the Skywalker Saga.
I'm never playing Lego.
But we'll
again
talk
with
about
you.
that.
You never played with.
I'm
him in
never
the
playing a
first place.
video
I
game
played
with you again.
Alan. You'll see his face for 2 seconds.
All right,
We're
Gabe.
not putting his face on here.
2014.
All right, so I kind of cheated for 2014 because I went ahead and picked the Master Chief Collection,
Oh
which
yeah.
came out for.
You asked us
Xbox.
earlier if this would count.
Yeah, I mean we're going with our own rules, like individually,
Like what we each perceive
Yeah.
the best of to be.
and I mean if we were doing just standalone games, definitely Little Big Planet would be my pick for this.
Oh yeah, Little Big Planet 3
3
came out in
came out.
2014.
Yeah, I made sure to remember that. But I mean, Halo is a really important game,
Mhm.
just like for everyone's childhood. I feel like it should be.
Mhm.
And now we can play it all the time. We got all of them in one little bundle
Yeah.
of joy.
Yeah. I can't wait for them all to be out on PC.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's gonna be great.
But, you know, it's still cool that like on Xbox they were able to like, you know, they put all of them together, have multiplayer for every Halo game across every map and everything.
I never had it on Xbox. I didn't have an Xbox One,
Yeah.
but I have it now on PC, the Master Chief Collection. and
Oh,
it
so that's
came out-
especially cheating.
Yeah,
Because
because it came out in 2014.
but only Halo Reach came out on PC so far.
yeah,
But it's the
I'm
principle.
talking
It's
about
the principle
whole,
of it.
It's essentially all the Halo games in full in
Yeah.
one piece is gonna be my most important
Yeah,
game of
yeah.
2014.
Yeah.
But my runner-up is Little Big Planet 3.
Yeah.
Which,
Little Big Planet 3 is one of my runner-ups too, but I forgot about it.
yeah, I spent as
2014
much
was
time.
a really good year.
Yeah, I spent as much time in Little Big Planet 3 as I did in any Little Big Planet game.
Yeah, yeah, and just having Little Big Planet on PS4 in better HD like quality.
It's what I needed.
It was just like as soon as I saw like Sackboy with like the actual like better like felt texture. I was like,
Yeah,
I
you
was
made little
just like that.
high pitched.
Yeah, I was like, and my dad's like, stop.
You are like a teenager now.
You're 14 years old. Okay, Nick, I don't know if your pick is gonna be the same as mine, so you go first. And
I
then
think I know yours,
Yeah.
and I did not pick the same thing.
Okay.
I can't
I
remember
picked-
what came out.
Well, because I waited till 2018 for this.
Yeah.
specific
See,
game.
I did the opposite.
For my pick this year, it wasn't even Pokemon because like I said, the Gen 6 games just weren't my style.
Mm-hmm.
I went Mario Kart 8
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's
you told me.
good. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
just because
I
like
forgot
going
that game
vroom
came out in
vroom.
2014.
Like, I was thinking about it. I'm like, if I did Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, that would be dumb because Mario Kart
Yeah.
8
Well, I
made
told you
Deluxe.
that.
So I said Mario Kart 8, and then later is a different game that you're gonna say now.
Yes. So this is kind of controversial because Smash 4 is my pick for 2014, and Smash Ultimate is like in certain ways it's a better game than Smash 4, but I have to put Smash 4 as my pick for 2014 because Smash 4 is the most hyped I've ever been for any game. Because Brawl was my first Smash Brothers, and it not only did it introduce me to a lot of Nintendo stuff, but I kind of didn't really know that much about it at all when I first played it, so I wasn't part of like the hype of Smash Brothers until Smash 4 was coming out, and that was when they started doing the character trailers, and that was like a big deal.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Because, you know, of course, with like the other games, it was like exciting finding out what new characters would be coming to the game. But I feel like they went all out with it in Smash 4 with the trailers, and they carried that over into Ultimate.
Yeah. Plus,
I feel like, even with World of Light, I feel like I enjoy Smash 4's single player content more.
Yes.
I don't know. I wasn't really considering whether 3DS and Wii U would be considered one game. I'm considering them one game because they're essentially the same, but with different maps. Smash Run is an amazing mode that they should have brought back for Ultimate. I played. I like Ultimate's classic mode better, but I feel like it was sort of like where I feel like Brawl and 4 were kind of overstuffed with so many different things to do, and not everyone really cared about everything they had to do, but there was still like a bunch of stuff like trophies and stuff, whereas Ultimate, I feel like they kind of focused in on the essentials of what Smash is, which is good, but I also remember like playing it, and then after a few days I was like, oh, there's not a lot of stuff to do for just me without having friends over to play.
I'll tell you my opinion about Ultimate when we get there.
Yeah, and that's it. You know, single player isn't really what Smash is about.
Yeah.
But I still feel like, in terms of just like the single player content and just the fact that I was so excited to play it when it first came out.
Space Emissary.
Yeah, Smash 4 is my pick for 2014.
Yeah. I feel like since I had Melee, like I played Melee a lot on GameCube.
Yeah, I only played Melee at friends' houses.
Yeah, we had it along with Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah.
Which, man, what a classic.
Yeah. Game of the decade is Super Monkey Ball.
Gotta be Super Monkey Ball, honestly. Yeah, I didn't have like, you know, it wasn't my first Smash game. I knew what the idea was.
Yeah.
So, I wasn't like as anticipated as you would have been.
Well, see, because I was familiar with what Smash was at the time, and it was just that was Smash 4, you know, because there was a longer gap too between Brawl and Smash 4 than there was between Smash 4 and Ultimate. Mm-hmm. So it was just, you know, it was a big deal. My runner up for 2014 is Shovel Knight. I really like Shovel Knight. And I still need to finish playing the expansions.
I thought you were going to pick that, actually.
Yeah.
For
I do really like Shovel Knight, but Smash 4 is just too big a game for me to not pick it. Mm-hmm. So, okay. 2015. This is going to be an interesting year, I think, for our picks. Because I honestly have no idea what you guys are going to pick.
You're not going to see this coming. But it's, I had a lot of fun playing this game, and I got to thank my man Brian Fan for introducing this to me. So
Osu?
No. No. I love playing Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even know you played that game at all.
Yeah, no, Brian. I mean, now it did not run very well on my old computer, but I've been replaying it a bit on my new computer now that it can actually run.
Yeah.
And I mean, the gameplay is so fun. It was fun back then.
I've been very close to buying that game a few times, but it looks fun.
Yeah, I think a bunch of us bought it. I was playing it with Brian. Brian's very good at that game. Mm-hmm. It's just a very fun shooter. Like I like playing Call of Duty games, but this felt very unique.
Yeah,
playing it, and it had a good like physics. The world physics was amazing. You could like shoot through walls and
I saw like the destructible stuff.
Yeah, it felt really special for a shooter game.
Yeah. All right, Nick, do you want to... Oh, my God.
I'm sorry.
We need to have, like, a freaking burp jar for you to pay us every time you burp on the podcast.
No, I'm already paying someone else.
Yeah, we don't
but we're not allowed to talk about that, so shut up.
Okay.
This isn't important. Disregard this. Anyway.
Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon.
Oh. I didn't even remember that was a game that existed.
I didn't either until I was looking. Basically, this
idea that came out.
This was one of the longest games I've ever spent time on my 3DS trying to play. because it had all 720 Pokemon at the time in the game that you can like recruit on your team.
Yeah.
I think I got like through 400, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. It's too much.
I was overwhelmed.
But basically, they took like all the characters from the old Mystery Dungeon games and like put them like it was all post game. You'd meet those characters, and like if you read dialogue, you'd be like, oh shoot, I remember him.
Yeah.
Like, oh
it's
god,
cool.
That's Grovov from the future. What's he doing here?
See, that's
but,
just,
like,
that's just gibberish to me, but that's cool though.
Well, like that was just one, like
very cool.
But like playing that game was like after playing all the Mystery Dungeon games and seeing all the different Pokemon and the characters they were come back. It was just it made me nut.
Okay. Moving on.
Let's bleep that out. Everyone can just
It's
wonder.
getting late.
Did you just bleep me, dude?
Did you just bleep me
Let's
again?
wonder what
Alright.
Nick said.
So, 2015, Mario Maker came out, which was a huge part
I
of.
forgot that game.
I played that game a
existed.
lot in 2015. It's not my pick; it's my runner-up. I just wanted to say Mario Maker was a big deal when it came out, and I played it a ton. But I have to give my 2015 spot to one of my favorite indie games of all time, Undertale.
I knew it.
Da-da-da.
I was about to mention. I was like last when we were doing 2013, right? Right before this, or is this 2013? No, this is when we were in 2014.
Oh, because you were thinking about Shovel Knight, right?
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
about to ask, like, when does Undertale come out?
Yeah,
Or when did
Undertale came out in 2015,
Yeah.
and you know, of course, like it became a whole other thing after the fact when the fans like, I don't know, I don't even know what to say about it, but
Everything
the
that
game
could
itself
be said has been said.
it's just so incredible. Like, I love the morality system of it. It's a much more, you know, like the Infamous games. It's like you choose whether you want to do a good thing or a bad thing.
Oh yeah.
Whereas this one, it's much more naturally implemented. I really like Infamous, by the way. I'm not trying to throw that game under the bus. I'm just saying, like, it's just there have been examples of morality systems before, but this game I feel like implements it in a really cool way to the point where like you can't really like easily like change your mind. Like, you know, you can do, there's so many different run-throughs that you can do, and there's a lot of different things that happen in the game depending on what you do. Like, you have different dialogue interactions, and you can get different endings, and, like,
yeah.
you know, you don't have to kill anyone in the game, but if you do, the game knows that you have. And, like, even, like, if you play another game after the fact, the game remembers what you did in the last playthrough. So it's like, if you killed everyone on the last playthrough, and then you go in the next one and don't kill anyone, the game's still going to be like, you're still, like, a monster for doing what you did. Don't think that we forgot. The writing in that game is really smart and hilarious. And it's, like, I feel like that's, like, the perfect length for a game like that. Like, you can beat it in an afternoon if you just sit down and, like, play through the whole thing.
But that's obviously
but-
not all that the game has.
Yeah,
mean, that's
like,
a run through.
It has this game has some of the best replay value of any game that I've ever played, and I still want to go back eventually and like see all the stuff that I have yet to see. But at this point in time, I love the game so much, and I'm so excited for Deltarune. I have no idea when that game is coming out, so I didn't make it my most anticipated game that we'll talk about because I have no idea when that's coming out. Oh yeah, I need to talk about the music. Toby Fox did most of this game
Oh yeah.
all by himself, except for like, you know, he had some help with like artwork and stuff. But most of this game was done entirely by Toby Fox, including the soundtrack. And Toby Fox is an amazing composer, and I have bought the soundtrack for this game. It's one of the only game soundtracks that I own, just because it's so incredible, and I've listened to it so many times. And it's one of the very few games I've played where like I literally have the songs stuck in my head after hearing them once. So
Don't we all?
yeah. So Undertale is absolutely my favorite game of 2015.
Yeah.
So
Nick, I feel like we can go together.
You want to count down?
Pokemon Go.
I said count down.
I know
oh
what
yeah,
you
you
said.
mentioned this before.
I know what you said. I
Pokemon
did
Go's
not wanna
launch was
count
the
down.
only time we've ever known world peace.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
the only 3 months that people liked each other.
Yeah, it was actually insane.
No,
Like
it was
walking outside, seeing everyone hunting for Pokemon.
such a huge impact that
nothing we're ever gonna see again.
I did
never
not
gonna see anything like it again.
expect at all. Like it's surprising that I spent more time on my current college campus playing Pokemon Go than I have in actually in school.
Yeah.
Besides classroom time, like actually spending time on my campus, I spent more time playing Pokemon Go on that campus than actually like hanging out there.
Yeah.
They
had like crazy Charizards.
Like for me,
man.
like
Charizards.
I was one of those people that downloaded Pokemon Go like right away. Like
yeah.
I was one of
Oh no, I did too. Yeah.
And so like I'd go out, I'd be playing, and then like someone drove past me. They're like, "Are you playing Pokemon Go?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." Are you? They're like, "Yeah." Where's the nearest Pokestop? I'm like, "Right down there."
Where's the nearest Pokestop? Can't you just look?
There was a point in time, like there's still remnants of this at certain places where like every store that was a Pokestop like had a sign in the window that's like Pokemon Go players, come on in there. We have a Pokestop.
We got discount drinks if you show us your Pokemon.
Yeah, that was incredible.
I mean,
it really was like the whole like Pokemon like experience like in real life.
I had a trip.
It was really cool
to Europe, and I even saw a Pokestop.
Yeah, wasn't there a guy that like traveled the world just so we could get all the region exclusive Pokemon?
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
And he did it, and I think like he did it so fast that like his account got banned or something because they didn't think it was possible to do it that fast.
Yeah, did he? I mean, I hope he got it back.
I think he got it back because it was obviously a mistake. But anyway, my 2016 game of the year, or game of that year, I guess, is Hyper Light Drifter.
I knew it.
This is a game I really, really wish had
so
more attention.
Yeah. Just because these are like such iconic games.
And these are games that I talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Like I talk about my favorite games all the time. And Hyper Light Drifter, I feel like, is a game that I wish got way more attention. It was like kind of buzzed about when it came out, but like, and a lot of other good games came out in 2016. Like I have like 4 runner-ups. Like Overwatch came out, Doom 2016, Uncharted 4, Owlboy.
Mm-hmm. I feel like if I played these games more than I did,
I feel like if Pokemon Go didn't overshadow everything in that year.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I spent more time doing that, like I loved playing Hyper Light Drifter when I played it. With
we played it co-op, didn't we?
Yeah. They have Calm Dark Teleporter.
And the second player.
Yeah, the second player. Yeah. He has his own name.
That you made up.
What are you talking about? It's in the tutorial,
canon.
probably.
But Hyper Light Drifter, I feel like, is one of those games I can't really explain why I love it so much. It does sort of feel like a Zelda game, but with a much... It feels like a Zelda game with a more sort of like cyberpunk-ish vibe.
Yeah, the style is way different, and it has a very updated like combat.
Yeah, I really love the visual style and the colors. I love the sound design of it. It's very it's mostly sort of quiet until you like get into a fight, and then it sort of becomes like a little bit more like chaotic. I guess I don't know if that would be the right word for it.
I think you mentioned this to me back when we played it, but it was like it kind of like builds up that adrenaline very well.
Yeah, and the combat in it is great. Like just the whole system of like you do have your melee attacks, but then you also have your projectiles that you charge up by doing melee attacks, so it encourages you to get up close. Doom sort of had a similar thing, but I really like the combat. I really like pretty much everything about this game. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and I wish that more people talked about it. The Heart Machine, the company that made this, or I guess I hesitate to say company. I guess the team of people that made this, because it is a pretty small team. They're making another game in the same universe called Solar Ash Kingdom, and I'm so excited for it. But I have no idea when it's coming out.
What's up with their 3 name games?
Yeah, it's the same amount of like syllables, I guess. Not syllables. It just sounds similar when you say them back to back.
No, that's exciting.
I'm so excited for that.
I want to know more about that when it comes out.
Right. And now again, 2017 was an extremely hard year to pick.
For me, it wasn't that bad, but
I mean, I had good picks, but I had an obvious answer because I mentioned I've been playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild very recently now that I finally have it, and it is definitely fits my kind of game.
Yeah, I knew it would.
Yeah.
I knew you would love it.
So it's easily like reaching my top games.
Yeah.
Instantly, it became one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So I chose Pokemon Go in 2016.
Yes.
Because in 2016, Pokemon also made their biggest mistake, releasing Sun and Moon.
Oh.
Because Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon were so much better than the base games. Like, they are how I describe Black and White. They're like those perfect Pokemon formula games.
Yeah.
But Sun and Moon were so bad that no one wanted to play Ultra Sun and Moon, which in my opinion are probably after Black
See, that's
and White
surprising
are
to
the
me
best
because
games.
I remember people talking about how great Sun and Moon were when they came out, just that the tutorial was way too long.
But
That's
that
why
was
I
the-
never finished Moon.
That was the problem, because after that, Ultra Sun and Moon completely cut the tutorial. The story was better. They added more Pokemon,
Yeah.
and so I look back and I see Sun and Moon. I'm like, that's not a good game compared to Ultra
Yeah.
Sun.
Nick thinks about everything in retrospect.
except
Like he's like, that game freaking
for
sucked.
Despicable Me.
Oh no,
That-
no,
that
no!
he
It's a
thinks
great
of
movie.
at the time. Despicable Me 2. Okay, so this year is very hard for me because not only did Crash Bandicoot come back, Mario Odyssey came out, and it's one of the best Mario games of them all.
That's my runner-up.
That's my runner-up too because I also picked Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
That I was so attached to that game. Literally, when the Switch came out, that was the only game I had on it, and I played it for a straight month.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing
that.
nothing but playing Breath of the Wild.
I remember thinking you were dead.
Yeah, I was so caught up in the world of it, and it's like that game. I've played a lot of open world adventure games before, but I feel like that one, you sort of, I mean, you have more freedom. I feel like in approaching how you play the game, like because even like a lot of other things like side quests are all like pretty similar, and there's like a distinct path that you need to take if you want to do the campaign.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, they don't even really give you a direction that much. They give you the 4 points, but you get to them any way you want in the world. And, you know, once you're in the world, you have the option to completely just turn them off. And it's just like, okay, go, do your thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, like the whole system of, like, collecting supplies and cooking and, like...
Oh, cooking's...
And, like the different clothing... and everything. It's so different than every other Zelda game. It still feels like Zelda.
But it's so expansive.
Yeah. It's like it's my favorite adventure game that I've played by far.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for the sequel. I also don't know when it's going to come out. So I see there's so many things I'm excited for, but I can't talk about them in my most anticipated of 2020 because they're not confirmed for 2020. Breath of the Wild 2 is one of my favorite, or it's one of my most anticipated games. Period.
I'm guessing Breath of the Wild 2 is gonna be 21 or 22.
I think so too.
If they haven't announced it yet,
I don't think it would come out in 2020.
Yeah. But I don't really care about when it comes out. I don't want them to rush.
Yeah, no, I'm more than willing to wait. And there's still stuff I have to go back and do in Breath of the Wild. I finished the DLC, I think. I got the expansion pass, but there's still like side quests and stuff I have yet to do.
That's what I used your gift on.
Oh yeah, good. Awesome. Yeah. The DLC is really fun.
I want to get that motorcycle.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's awesome.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. Okay. So, we've all talked about 2017, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. 2018. Who's going to start us? Because we've got, I love how I said at the beginning we were going to try to be more structured this time.
You know,
Ultimate, get me and Gabe.
Ultimate.
So, Chris, you didn't pick this. I understand that. But
and I understand why you did. Ultimate is a fantastic game.
I spent over 50 hours on World of Light.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the shit out of that.
Yeah. I liked World of Light too.
The trailer when they said everyone is here was one of the most hyped trailers I've ever watched for any video game or movie.
Yeah.
So, like, that just... that blows it out of the park.
Yeah.
World of Light and that, and also the battling in that game is so much better than any Smash game.
Yeah. And the character roster is the best too. I'm fully willing to acknowledge that Ultimate is the better game when comparing the two. It's mostly the nostalgia for me.
For me, Ultimate might be the game of the decade.
Yeah.
See,
so that's why it has to be Game of the Year, so it can be Game of the Year.
Yeah.
My whole experience with Ultimate was very influenced by Carlos. A lot of my hype came from
Carlos is a friend of ours that's really into Smash.
Yeah, I mean,
a little too much. I don't like playing with him.
His face.
He makes me want to
I love playing with him. He makes me want to get better.
He makes me want to
I love.
I can't even get a stock off of him.
I love talking about Smash with him.
Yeah.
Playing is a challenge, I'll say. But I was with him in one of our classes when this was all happening.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of discussion, a lot of my hype came from what he was telling me.
Yeah.
And I usually don't. I didn't go out and watch directs that much before then. And then I was really getting into learning about what's coming out, so I got really hyped up for it. And then it's just a really fun game.
Yeah. I do definitely think that Ultimate is the better game comparing Smash 4 and Ultimate. I feel like the reason I put Ultimate as my 2014 pick is because, one, there wasn't a lot of other stuff in 2014 that was big that I played other than Shovel Knight and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. And like I said, that was the first time I was really on the Smash Bros. Hype train. I remember not being able to sleep certain nights because I was thinking about how excited I was for that game and watching all the trailers and stuff. And that was the first midnight release I ever went to.
I think that year I went and dropped $80 at one GameStop trip because I went and bought Smash 4 and Alpha Sapphire at the same time.
I did too. And also, I forgot about this too because this was also a big part of it. Smash 4 was the introduction of Amiibo, and I was collecting Amiibo that year. And that was a huge thing for me for a long time, was collecting Amiibo. So that was sort of the kickoff to that too.
We are very aware that as I'm staring at a huge collection of
maybe that
behind
should be
us.
the thumbnail.
The Amiibo collection.
Yeah.
So Ultimate is definitely my it's a really big runner up for me for 2018. I think it's an incredible game, and I think it's only getting better over time with all the stuff they've been adding to it, all the characters and modes and stuff. But I think for the sake of variety, and because I already put Smash 4 as 2014, I'm going to go with Spider-Man for 2018.
Oh, that did
Definitely.
come out.
I
Spider-Man
knew that
PS4,
came out, yeah.
that was that was a thing where certain other games I played and I enjoyed, and I played them in at a certain pace. Spider-Man was a game I was not able to pull myself away from. I remember playing the other Spider-Man games before, and I really liked just swinging around. And Spider-Man PS4 perfected that for me. It's the best it's ever felt by far. And that was really all I needed from the game. But
just swing
the
around
story,
the game.
yeah, but the story was really awesome, and all pretty much all the side quests were really fun. Other than I didn't like the DLC of the game, but that's not really I can't really say that the game is worse for that because that's all optional content.
Yeah.
But the base game, pretty much all the side missions were pretty fun. I loved all the different suits and stuff. They've still been adding suits to that.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're doing amazing amazing things with the suits.
That's just the best superhero game by far. I feel like that's the direction Marvel should be going with every game that they make from here on out.
Like the Avengers.
I don't know if the Avengers game is going to reach that same level of quality. I don't think it will as of right now. I hope they prove me wrong.
I would love for them to prove me wrong.
Spider-Man is just an incredible game.
That's for sure my runner-up.
I 100%ed that game. Even though I didn't like the DLC that much, I 100%ed all the DLC, and that's the only game that I've ever platinumed on PlayStation.
I tried to I'm still technically trying because I'm close, but I have yet to do it.
I got completion trophies for all the freaking DLC packs too. So I was literally not able to stop. After I 100%ed everything, I was still going back just to swing around. And then eventually I just reached the point where I was like, okay, I need to stop playing this game. I had to set an alarm for myself late at night on school nights that said stop playing Spider-Man because I was not able to stop playing that game.
See, that's like a funny joke, but it's not as funny when it really happens and you're there at
and you're exhausted.
2, 3
Well, you were
in the
probably
morning.
laughing at yourself because you were so exhausted.
Yeah.
He's probably mad at himself.
Speaking of
for
exhausted,
setting that
I'm
up.
really
Okay,
tired
we're at
right
2019. Let's go, guys.
And we're at 2019.
Dave,
All right, so I
you can
looked
talk faster than that.
through. I'm thinking.
No, it's okay. We can take our time. We're almost at the
Yeah,
end.
no one's gonna be tired watching this. So
If they've made it this far,
you deserve us talking slow. I really don't think that I own any game that came out 2019. I've played a few, and I'm gonna talk about my two. I'm gonna pick two that I guess influenced me 2019. One, Untitled Goose Game. Such a great game.
Oh my god.
It really
I
is.
forgot about that.
I've seen the entirety of the gameplay through videos.
Yeah.
So it was just a very
I really want to play that game for
very
myself.
hilarious game. I'm gonna probably get it on Switch.
Yeah.
And then also Luigi's Mansion 3
Mm-hmm.
came out, which I don't have, but I played it here.
Chris, is that your pick?
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. I will loop into Chris's here, which I think Luigi's Mansion 3 is gonna be either runner up or his pick. But it was very, very fun. I just wish I had more to say about it because I don't have it. And I don't have any of these games. Also,
see, that's the thing too about some of our other picks is that like my picks for 2012, I didn't play until a few years later.
Yeah.
So like
2019, it's like
there's another.
if you
yeah,
play
it's just
something,
it
you're like,
just
what am I
happened.
doing?
So if you didn't play anything new that year,
There's
which
another
is
another 2019 game that came out, but I'll hold off on it because it's more of your game than mine. So you go and then I'll maybe talk about it.
okay. So I had two picks this year, or not this year, I guess last year. my picks for 2019 were very close in terms of which one I was gonna pick. So my two picks were Luigi's Mansion 3 and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. They're both games I sunk a lot of time into, and I kind of wanted to see everything that both of them had to offer. I think I am going to go with Luigi's Mansion 3, just because it was basically everything that I wanted in a Luigi's Mansion sequel. I was just so happy with everything about that game.
Except the fact that it takes place in a hotel.
I don't
Not really
care.
it's not a
I don't
mansion
care
game.
that it doesn't take place in a mansion.
I mean, it could be
It's-
called like Luigi's Hotel 1.
No, it's
I
the
guess.
third game in the Luigi's Mansion franchise.
The first game in the hotel franchise.
And the controls are the best they've ever been.
That is true.
The ghost catching is the most satisfying it's ever been. They brought back portrait ghosts from the first game. It's actually like you can actually progress at your own pace like the first game instead of it being mission based like the second game. The animation is beautiful and it's the best it's been in any Mario game. And I just other than like literally the only thing I didn't like about that game was the polter kitty missions where you have to backtrack. But those are two missions in the entire game. And this game is pretty long too. Like it's way longer than the first one. And I think it's about as long as the second one. But that's a very small part of that. But I adored playing this game. And I love playing co-op in it with both of you guys.
Yeah.
I really love Jedi Fallen Order too. But I just feel like as a Luigi's Mansion fan, I just feel like Luigi's Mansion is just closer to my heart.
I knew that was going to be there on your list. I did not. You didn't say the game that I thought you were going to talk about a bit, which was Tetris 99.
Oh yeah. Did that come out 2019?
Yes.
I think it
felt like it came out right after Smash Ultimate.
According to Google, came out 2019.
Interesting.
Maybe it was January.
It might have been January.
I was definitely in the beginning of the year. But.
Because
Yeah,
Smash
'cause
was
that
like
seems
December 2018. But I did play Tetris 99 a lot, but I wasn't considering it for my pick just because it is basically just Tetris,
Yeah.
but multiplayer.
I just know you were crazy. You were going on, like,
I
the
was gonna
Tetris
go the
craze.
crazy route and pick Tetris 99.
It was February.
Okay.
2019,
Okay.
So.
Oh yeah, it was right after Direct.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna right before we talked about the movies, we talked about Sword and Shield. That's my game of 19
Obviously.
because it's the only new game I got to play. Because I spent. See, I wish I spent more time on it, but like, I got to the point where we had to go back to school and Thanksgiving break was over, and so my 35 hours was all I can do. And then like after like I wanted to go back, but I haven't like had the chance or haven't been motivated.
Yeah.
But with the whole wild area, like I feel like I can just jump back and keep playing the game. It was a Pokemon experience. It was just the normal story, like you go through blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then like it was the first time I felt I can actually keep playing the game. And now that they're adding the expansion pass, there's gonna be so much more to do in the future, and that just makes me happy that I can keep.
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna cost me $60 to play the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Pokemon.
Yeah, I figured that would be your pick.
Yeah, I wish I
That's
had,
the tough thing about.
All these games.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably games I played in 2019 that I'm forgetting about, and there's probably a lot of games that I missed out on just because we only have so much time to sink our teeth into games like this.
A lot of these movies and games that we've been talking about, I have more.
I did not watch them or play them the year they came out. Yeah.
Than now, so well, I mean, maybe in 2028 I'll be playing Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jedi Fallen Order is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I hope they make a sequel.
That's probably one of the next
Yeah.
games I'm planning on
I
getting.
think we should say our most anticipated movie and video game, only one for the next year, and then end it because I want to go to bed.
Well,
Yeah.
that really
It
is. That's the end. That's what we planned.
Yeah, I'm just saying it.
Yep,
so we
that's
do
the,
it.
that's the plan.
All right.
mean,
all right.
So we're gonna start with movies.
Just
Yeah.
yeah.
It was very difficult for me to narrow down games. Movies for 2020 was pretty easy for me to narrow down because there isn't a ton of stuff I'm looking forward to. Like I am looking forward to like the Marvel Studios stuff like Black Widow and the Eternals and stuff like that.
But I didn't want to pick some.
And I think other than that, like Bill and Ted 3, I'm looking forward to that because me and Gabe just recently watched the Bill and Ted movies. But I think honestly, my most I said it as a joke earlier, but I honestly think my most anticipated movie of 2020 is the SpongeBob movie, just because the SpongeBob movies, even though the second one isn't as funny as the first one, I still think they've both been. The first one is amazing, obviously one of my favorite movies of all time, and the second one I think is pretty good. So I really like the animation style of this new one. I like that it's all CG and not because they marketed the other one as the CGI superhero real life sections, and then they made it seem like that was the whole movie, but it was like the last 20 minutes of it, and the rest was like 2D animated like the first one. That this one is CG all the way through, and they actually sort of went further with that style of having their original designs in CG and having it all look really nice. And of course, Keanu Reeves is in it. Which is perfect.
I've been waiting for you.
I've been waiting for you to show up in a SpongeBob. I'm just a really big SpongeBob fan, and I was looking at 2020 movies, and there's a bunch of stuff that's oh, you know what, that looks cool. I'll probably see it when it comes out. But SpongeBob, for some reason, it's the only thing where I'm like, yes, I can't wait. So,
see, for me, I'm the same way, but not for SpongeBob. I've been joking so much about the Sonic movie, but now I'm at the point where I actually want to see it and see if they actually fixed everything.
Yeah.
I'm really, ready to see the Sonic movie. Mostly because Sonic is kind of cute now.
Yeah, I love Sonic's new design. I just don't think the movie is going to be good.
I just love the fact that you have both Despicable Me and the Sonic movie on your movies list.
The Sonic movie is coming out on Valentine's Day, and I'll gladly go alone.
That's how you spend your Valentine's. You eat Valentine's candy like in the theater alone.
That's what I'll do.
Yeah. All right, Gabe. Most anticipated movie of 2020.
I'd say that probably SpongeBob is my runner-up for that. It's a SpongeBob movie. I love SpongeBob, but I'm gonna pick The Kingsman.
Oh yeah, that's coming out
right.
this year.
Kingsman is one of my favorite franchises ever.
And there's only 2 movies.
Yeah, but
it's really
already,
cool.
Like 2 of my favorite movies. So I'm really like just interested in what they're gonna do with a prequel sort of movie. Like how are they gonna start this? Or they're gonna have, or they're gonna integrate the Statesman, which I really hope that they touch on it. Because that would make a lot of sense.
I was like confused at first when this the trailer for this came out, because I remember after the Golden Circle they were talking about like, oh, we're gonna do Kingsman 3 and a Statesman movie and a prequel, but I don't think they're actually doing all of those. I think they're just doing this one and Kingsman 3.
Yeah, no, I think.
But I think Statesman is gonna tie into this one somehow. But I am really looking forward to it too.
So for video games,
now
I
video
understand
games.
we have not had E3 or Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
Or anything be announced.
Yeah.
The only thing I can really say I'm excited for comes out March 6th, and that's Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Deluxe. And that's me. Good night.
Yeah, and he's dead.
All right, so
I keep yawning because I'm very tired. All right, Gabe.
I'm gonna talk about a game that I'm really excited is getting a sequel. It's Kerbal Space Program 2.
Oh
coming
yeah.
out. And I played the first game all the time.
So did I. That game is awesome.
That was really fun. Like, I made a spaceship.
I made a spaceship and it go.
I made a spaceship and it farted and it went into space. I crashed every time.
Yeah, I did not make a single landing on a planet other than.
Look at the spike the fart
What's it
noise
called?
made.
Oh God, we're looking at the audio track.
Let's move that along.
Yeah.
It's Kerbal Space Program 2. Very excited. I want to see what they do different. Because they had a lot in the first game.
Yeah.
Especially with some DLCs and stuff. So any differences would be pretty exciting to see.
Yeah. I have a lot of stuff I want to talk about in terms of what I'm excited for, because 2020 with dates that we have is already pretty insane, but then there's the stuff we don't have dates for.
Yeah.
Like we don't know when Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out.
Like I said, it's probably not this year.
Yeah, probably not. We don't know when Deltarune's coming out.
It
could be this year, but I don't know. There's a game, I don't know if you guys know about this. There was a fan-made you guys know the Mother series, right?
Yeah.
Like Earthbound. There was a fan-made Mother 4 in development.
Is it called Father?
No.
Shut up.
It was called Mother 4, but then Nintendo started taking down fan games.
I thought you were going to sleep.
So they rebranded it and they changed the name to Oddity, and that I don't know when that's coming out.
I think you
they just
definitely told me about
that. They just released a new trailer for it and it looks amazing. But they just said at the end it'll be out when it's ready, because they literally the last time they put out a trailer for it, well, the first trailer they said it would be out winter 2014.
That did not happen.
That got delayed, and then it was 2015 or 2016, and they said it was coming in the summer, and it just never came out. And it was kind of one of those things where I was giving up hope that it was ever going to get finished, but it looks like they're pretty close to being done, so I'm excited for that. And then there's also Last of Us 2 is coming out this year, Cyberpunk is coming out this year, Halo Infinite is coming out this year, Doom Eternal is coming out this year, but I think
he's way too educated on what's coming out this
because
year.
there's so much.
I mean, Halo Infinite was
I literally for movies I was looking it up and I was like, okay, these are just some cool stuff, but it's not anything I'm super super excited for. With games, it's there's big stuff coming out.
See, I feel like
on a
for
monthly
games,
basis.
they didn't finish the decade strong at all, but movies finished it way too strong.
And now games are starting really strong.
And movies are we need to get a.
You need to take a breather.
They're we're not even gonna get a Star Wars movie till 2022 now. So.
But I haven't even said my most anticipated game yet, which is Psychonauts 2.
Okay, finally he's done.
Because I'm not done because I need to talk about Psychonauts 2 now.
I'm going to bed. So
So anyway, while you guys sleep, I'll just say the original Psychonauts is an incredible game. I beat it like a year or two ago. And it's just a great platformer. It's so unique. The concept behind it is amazing. The writing is just so great. I really want to replay that game. Oh, Tyler's snoring in the background.
we can't validate that that's Nick.
So, yeah, we can't prove that it's Tyler still.
I actually have no idea if that's Tyler.
But
or
anyway,
me or Nick.
it's sleepy times here, so I'll try to wrap this up. Psychonauts is an incredible game. Psychonauts 2 looks like it's going to be incredible. I've been following its development for a long time, and it was supposed to come out last year, and it got delayed, which I was sad about, but I'm so excited for it to finally come out this year so I can play it and love it and adore every single bit of it. So that's all.
I never
That's
played.
it. That's it for this podcast.
If you
so
watch this painful 33-hour long podcast,
2.5 hours.
2.5 hour. I love you. I'll never kiss you because that's harassment. And I hope you have a good day or night or morning or whatever time of the day that you're watching this while eating your cereal. You can't even hear us because you're crunching like crunch. So I hope you have a great day.
I think we really have to disregard everything Nick is talking about.
Anything
What the
I'm
fuck
saying,
are you
please
talking about?
Just
Okay.
end it.
Okay.
Stop
I
it.
just want to say
Bye.
We're going to sleep.
this is a long episode, and we recorded it super late. So thank you for sticking with us. If you did, let us know what your favorites of the decade were in the comments. We love you so much. We'll be back in a couple weeks with another episode. I think we're gonna do The Mandalorian next time.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
we got a lot of great things coming out this year. If you're new, thank you for tuning in. Us two are not famous.
Yeah, we're not famous, but Chris, he's famous.
But don't worry, we will have a famous member on every single time.
Jesus Christ.
He'll probably make another meme this year too, so stay tuned.
Oh my God.
You'll see it here exclusively.
That's too much pressure, dude.
I mean, I'm putting the heat on.
If you're not famous,
cool.
how are we gonna get famous?
We're not. We're just gonna not.
As always, I love you.
Love
Good
you
night.
so much. Thank you for listening. See you next time.
Enjoy your cereal.
See you. Bye.